VRPD. This all started on Monday afternoon.
Count 13, count 16, count 19, and count 22. And there are other parameters to this agreement. Would you like me to put those on the record now?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, it's anticipated that he will enter those pleas as charged. In other words, identity fraud as a third-degree felony with 2 counts, forgery as a third-degree felony, 2 counts, 6 counts of pharmacy fraud, which would be those count 4.
And that's a Class A misdemeanor.
And those are all Class A misdemeanors. There are 6 of those. And all of those the counts I just recited the ends are all pharmacy fraud cases. We are asking the court to waive time for sentencing. I have some specific requests as it relates to sentencing about the language, but the agreement is that my client will pay a $25,000 fine to the court. And Your Honor, I have a cashier's check in hand. I'm holding it now that I would like to publish to the court at the end of this. Upon payment of that, the state has agreed to a 402 reduction for each of those 4 felony counts. They would all be reduced to Class A misdemeanors, and the case would close at that point in time.
With credit for time served?
No credit for time served, and that has to do with his pending federal sentencing and an anticipated sentence within the Bureau of Prisons. So what we're asking is for the court to give no credit for any time served and to simply close the case.
Okay. Let's have a counsel just approach and we'll just have a brief discussion at the bench here. You might. All right. I was able to meet with the attorneys at Sidebar and just to try to better understand a global resolution that is happening in Mr. Gaulden's state cases and with his federal case. I wanted to better understand how that global resolution would play into this case and whether or not the court felt comfortable moving forward with accepting the plea bargain and imposing a sentence in conjunction with the stipulated resolution that the parties have represented to the court. I'm going to give Mr. Williams a chance to put on the record just a little bit more detail about what's happening with the federal sentence and the amount of incarceration that Mr. Gaulden will be receiving as to why it might make some sense for the court to accept the plea bargain. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, thank you. I'm happy to do that. Your Honor, the agreement that my client has reached with the government, the federal government, is he's already entered this plea. This is a matter of public record. He reached an agreement that has yet to be accepted by the district court. I should qualify that a sentence of incarceration of 27 months in the Bureau of Prisons would be a reasonable sentence. And we're awaiting sentencing on that currently. But the position here is that that is a significant sentence. Candidly, it could be that if he were sent to the U.S. State Prison on this, the board may release him far sooner than that. But he's going to do this 27 months within federal custody, which is why we're asking the court to follow this recommendation and this plea agreement that we've reached of just closing the case now. Then he can go and remain in federal custody and go do that time when that sentence is handed down.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Keller, is there any?
Your Honor, if I may, I'm sorry.
You may.
Thank you so much. Mr. Delestino and I have been communicating. One thing we want to bring up, and that is that in our negotiations, which have been extensive with Mr. Keller, one of the things that we talked about that there would be a no contest, and I'll let Mr. Williams explain that in person. But that these would be entered no contest. And Mr. Delacino and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear with the court.
Okay, thank you for helping me better understand that, Mr. Finley. Mr. Delacino?
And Your Honor, not to gang up on the proceedings here with the three of us, but I would add to something that Mr. Williams said, which is that not only
how many counts did they say?
does the federal resolution contemplate a 27-month prison sentence, but it also contemplates a consecutive term of 60 months of supervised probation. So there will be a probationary component to that sentence as well that will follow the custodial sentence.
And as part of that federal probationary period, would Mr. Galden be required to, I assume he would be subject to probation searches that would involve ensuring that he is not possessing or using any dangerous weapons, such as firearms. Likewise, no illegal drugs or alcohol, things of that nature.
That's correct, Your Honor. And federal probation is a sort of unique animal in the sense that it's akin to probationary terms in state, which is to say that they could impose the entire sentence that it was initially available to impose if there were to be a violation, but he would have federal probation officers for that period of time.
And Your Honor, I would just add to that too, with built in the federal code is any violation of probation that includes possession of a controlled substance requires automatic revocation of the term of probation. So there is a lot riding on our client doing well after the Bureau of Prison Time and then for 5 years on probation.
Very well. Anything further that you would like to put on the record at this time, Mr. Keller?
Your Honor, just briefly, the state is in agreement with the plan of action that's being set forth before the court. This is somewhat of a unique case where there have been multiple jurisdictions involved, both multiple jurisdictions in the federal and in the state systems. There's been conversations across all parties and across the representatives for the government in each of those cases as well to ensure that a proper disposition is reached globally across these cases. And so this is just really a smaller cog in the bigger wheel of ultimately seeking justice against Mr. Galden.
I assume then that the Weber County case, which I understand there's a charge in Weber County or maybe charges, is that going to be part of this global resolution as well?
That's correct, Your Honor. There have been conversations with Weber County, and it's my understanding, I believe, that plea has already been taken in Weber County.
That case has been dismissed. That gave rise to the federal case. So same conduct. There's been a plea entered in federal court. The state dismissed their charge.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Mr. Galden, have you had enough time to speak to your attorneys about this decision to enter into this plea bargain?
Yes.
Have they gone over with you the rights that you would be waiving by accepting this plea bargain and entering no contest pleas and being sentenced today and having this case closed?
Yes.
Do you understand that a no contest plea has the same effect as a guilty plea in a lot of ways? The court will sentence someone on a no contest plea the same as it would a guilty plea. Although you would still be maintaining your innocence, you would acknowledge that the government has sufficient evidence to meet each and every element of the charges that you would be pleading no contest to.
Yes.
Mr. Galden, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No.
Are you on any medications right now?
No.
Are you thinking clearly today and understanding everything that's happening in court?
Yes.
Has anybody forced you or coerced you to get you to accept this plea bargain?
No.
Are you pleading no contest today because you believe that the government does have sufficient evidence to be able to prove each of these each of the 10 charges that you would be entering a no contest plea to today beyond a reasonable doubt.
No.
Are you acknowledging that even though you're maintaining your innocence, that the government would still be able to prove these charges in court potentially, and so you believe it's in your best interest to accept a plea bargain?
No.
In order for me to accept your no contest plea, I just need to better understand and make sure that you are acknowledging that the global resolution of these cases is in your best interest, and that there is some basis for you to be accepting the plea bargain. There is some evidence that you believe would justify you accepting the plea bargain. Are you able to acknowledge that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Has he been able to sign that statement of defendant supporting his no contest plea?
Your Honor, I did not know the court's policy. I'm going to have him sign this before Your Honor.
Very good.
If I could approach.
Just hand that to the bailiff, please. Thank you. Mr. Galden, I just want to make sure that you have reviewed and read this entire document, which is entitled Statement of Defendant Supporting Your Plea and Certification of Counsel. Have you read this document?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about the rights you would be waiving by accepting the plea bargain?
No.
Okay. Let's have a factual basis to support the 10 charges he's pleading to.
Your Honor, the defendant is ultimately criminally responsible, particularly under Utah Code 76-202, for a large-scale prescription drug fraud ring that has been known to have acquired various prescription medications, specifically promethazine with codeine, which is a cough suppressant that's a heavily abused Schedule 5 controlled substance in the state of Utah. And those were secured from multiple pharmacies in Cache County, as well as other pharmacies in northern Utah. Mr. Galden had acted with others in this criminal activity, particularly where there were 2 co-defendants, which were recently had their cases resolved before this court. And those co-defendants were intercepted as they were trying to pick up the fraudulent prescription at Larry's Pharmacy in Smithfield here in Cache County. Those 2 individuals were using Mr. Galden's vehicle to make the pickup, and they were detained by law enforcement. And shortly thereafter, someone contacted law enforcement pretending to be an elderly woman to whom the fraudulent prescription belonged. The prescription was listed to be for a Gwendolyn Cox, but this elderly woman, who was clearly someone pretending to be an elderly woman, said her name was Gwendolyn White and couldn't provide a birth year. This is important because fraudulent names such as Beatrice White, Bethel White, Carolyn White, Harriet White, Anna White.
Gwendolyn White. This old lady, so she wasn't even dead, young boy? Nah, he just uses some old lady name for a script.
And Gwendolyn White were all being used through this scheme. There were 2 other pharmacists here in Cache County that immediately recognized this fake elderly woman's voice from that phone call as the same person who had called into their pharmacies checking in on a prescription under some of those aforementioned names for promethazine with codeine. And all of these prescriptions had been called in by someone portraying themselves to be a Dr. James Woodmansey, who is a legitimate doctor in the Provo, Utah area, but he was contacted by law enforcement and by several of these other prescription outlets, and he had verified that these were all fraudulent prescriptions that he had not authorized. Ultimately, when Mr. Galden ended up in contact with the detective investigating this case, when he was trying to get his vehicle out of impound after it was taken from the Larry's Pharmacy incident. During that phone call, Mr. Galden had engaged in a conversation with a third person and had asked him about the prescription they picked up. At that time, it became clear that Mr. Galden had some involvement beyond simply lending his vehicle to be used, where he had some knowledge of the fraudulent prescription being retrieved. In addition, there was 1 prescription called in for Control Galden, but the date of birth for that prescription was in 1953, which was clearly false date of birth and is consistent with some of those date of births used with the false elderly women names throughout this fraudulent scheme. That prescription was picked up by an individual who was intercepted by law enforcement. Shortly thereafter, promethazine with codeine, along with other prescriptions, had been called in to that same pharmacy for Mr. Galden, utilizing his accurate date of birth. Mr. Galden, however, while he was on a federal probation, was only afforded a single doctor to issue prescriptions with a single pharmacy, and the doctor who called that prescription in was inconsistent, and that pharmacy was inconsistent with those which had been allowed through probation. In the end, there was a search warrant executed on Mr. Galden's residence. Law enforcement found a prescription bottle in Mr. Galden's bathroom inside the master bedroom. The bottle was for a Caroline White, one of the known fraudulent names, with the corresponding prescribing doctor who had confirmed the fraud. The prescription was for doxycycline, and the prescription bottle was consistent with the time frame and patient information for the promethazine with codeine that had also been picked up, according to a subsequently gathered Doppel report. Also in the bathroom was a prescription for doxycycline to control Galden, also prescribed by the same doctor and previously confirmed as fraud. This is consistent with the promethazine with codeine that had been prescribed with Cantrell's fake date of birth, and a prescription bottle of promethazine with codeine was also found inside the defendant's bathroom with no prescription label on the bottle. And a further search of the defendant's residence yielded 3 more bottles of promethazine with codeine. More specifically to these counts, Your Honor, on September 19th of 2023, Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram received a prescription called in for a Bethel White with a claimed date of birth of November 10th of 1949. On September 19th, 2023, Spence's Pharmacy received a similar phone call for a Gwendolyn Cox with a fraudulent date of birth. On October 9th, 2023, Spence's Pharmacy received such a phone call with a fraudulent name. Cache Valley Pharmacy in North Logan had a prescription called in for a fraudulent individual. And on January 17th, 2024, Larry's Pharmacy in Smithfield received a call also from a fraudulent individual. Cook's Brothers Pharmacy in Providence in Cache County had a fraudulent prescription called in, and the Budge Clinic Pharmacy in Logan also had a fraudulent prescription called in. So ultimately, for each time a prescription was called in, there were 3 separate offenses: identity fraud, attempting to procure a prescription, and forgery. The identity fraud includes the use of a real physician's identifying information, that of Dr. James Woodmansey. The procurement of a prescription includes having other people procure or attempt to procure the prescriptions through deceit and lying about their relationship to the patient. And the forgery includes the act of authenticating the writing or the prescription in each instance, which purports to be the act of that Dr. James Woodmansey.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keller. That is a sufficient factual basis to support each of these 10 charges. Mr. Galden, to the charge of identity fraud, a 3rd-degree felony, 2 separate counts, how do you plead to both of those charges? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
To the charge of forgery, a 3rd-degree felony, 2 separate counts, both of those being 3rd-degree felonies, how do you plead to those 2 charges?
No contest.
To the charge of pharmacy fraud, a Class A misdemeanor, 6 separate counts, how do you plead to each 6 of those charges?
No contest.
The court finds that you have knowingly and voluntarily entered your no contest pleas. I've signed the statement of defendant and will now enter that into the record. You have the right to be sentenced in not less than 2 days and not more than 45 days. It's my understanding that you would like to waive time for sentencing and be sentenced today. Is that correct, Mr. Galden?
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear first today from Mr. Williams or any of his other attorneys. I think I understand, based on the negotiated settlement, that the attorneys with the state and with Mr. Galden agreed to ordering that he pay a fine in the amount of $25,000.
Correct.
And that once that's been paid, which you do have a cashier's check, that the court reduced the 4 felony charges pursuant to 76-3-402 down to 4 Class A misdemeanors, and that then the court should just close his case.
That's correct, Your Honor. And unless the court has any questions of me, I'm happy to submit if the court's comfortable with that.
I am comfortable with that. I don't have any questions, but I will give you a chance if you'd like to state anything further for the record.
Your Honor, just procedurally, I understand that it does take time for minute entries to be updated. I, as I indicated, have a cashier's check in the amount of $25,000. In fact, Mr. Keller has been kind enough to, it was mailed to his office, hold that for a couple of weeks for us. I'm asking the court to enter that order, reducing those now and closing the case, anticipating that I can give this to some court staff before I leave.
Sure.
So as if we're treating it as if it's been paid, I'm holding it now. I just don't know who to give it to.
Angie, how long does that? On the way down? Yeah. All
I
right,
will
so
do
after
that.
we're done with the sentencing here today, you can just go down to the front counter and pay that fine.
Thank you.
Anything further that his counsel online need to put on the record? I think I understand the global resolution, but if you'd like to put anything further on the record, you can do so now.
No, Your Honor.
Anything from the state, Mr. Keller?
The state will submit based on that stipulated agreement. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Golden, the court is going to impose a fine in the amount of $25,000 in order you to pay that today. It does appear that you do have a cashier's check in that amount now. And so based upon the stipulation between the state of Utah and Mr. Golden, the court will reduce his 4 felony counts on the identity fraud and the forgery down 1 step to Class A misdemeanors pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-402. And your case will close. Now, the reason that the court is willing to sentence you to just the fine and then closing the case, Mr. Golden, is because it's been represented to me that there is a global resolution between federal prosecutors and state prosecutors whereby you will be serving a substantial amount of time in federal prison, apparently 27 months, and after which 60 months of supervised probation, where you'll be monitored to make sure that you're doing well in your active recovery and that you are staying out of trouble and not having any dangerous weapons, including firearms, in your possession. Mr. Golden, I've seen so many times that good men and women who have a lot of talent and potential, that they can be robbed of that potential when they start to really struggle with their addiction. So I don't want that for you. You seem like a very talented young man. I'm hoping in your future that once you're done with your federal prison time, that you can be really successful on federal probation and have a really bright future where you can reach your full potential in every aspect of your life. Best of luck to you, Mr. Golden.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank you, Your
further?
Honor. That's all I have, if I could
Okay.
be excused.
Bro, you from High Block? You not from High Block? Then what you doing walking down this block? As a matter of fact, come here real quick, bro. Hey, don't run, don't run, don't run. That's what happened when the ops, Risky Road is a hood in Chicago. They riding around looking ops through the ops block with heavy artillery, pulling up on anybody. To be honest with you, that man that they put up on, he was smart to run away.
You from Hot Block? You sure? I'm positive. What you got on you? Don't run. Come out. Hey, check it out. Come out. Come out. Come out. Don't come back right here.
Because he could have been killed. These shorties look goofy. They mind is wild. That man could have lost his life. Then we got FYB J-Man. He apologized. He name-dropped names and apologized. We got two different stories. Hit the like button. Goal on this video, 2,000 likes. We got two different stories to talk about. First, we're going to start off with FYB J-Man. He apologized. I mean, what more he got to do now? I guess people want him to apologize, standing in O Block, standing on top of a box with 6 people around him with this and that and that and that. Come on now.
Apologize to the mother of L.A. Capone on Bro Grave. I apologize to the mother of L.A. Capone. I apologize to the families that I dissed. I apologize to Fredo Santana family. I apologize to the families of all the dead BDs, the dead rappers, Lil Steve. I apologize to the families and to the mothers and to the sisters and to the wives, all the women.
I mean, the guy didn't apologize. I think we to the point now where we starting to ask for a lot now. He got on that mic. He said sorry to these people. Now, in my opinion, it's the other person's turn to say sorry. But you know, this how it goes. So hit the like button. Goal on this video, 2,000 likes. If you haven't seen the picture of FYB J-Man or the video of him apologizing, I'm finna show it. But he apologized, man. He apologized to L.A. Capone family. He apologized to Fredo family, all kind of stuff. He clearly named their name and said sorry. He going along with it. You know, FYB J-Man could have said, man, fuck all that. I ain't saying nothing, man. Y'all niggas better get y'all goof ass on some motherfucking well, boy. He ain't say that. People told him what he had to do, and he doing it. Now, if you don't think that's pushing peace to the fullest, then I don't know. It's some people that feel like J-Man selling his homies out and selling the dogs out and his boys out, and he doing all this shit for the clout. I mean, I don't know how you look at it. I think J-Man is getting older. The man is 30 years old. I don't know why people want him to still walk around like he's 19 years old. But, I mean, it is what it is. I understand the whole duck situation, the O Block, that's big. It's just always been smoke there. So for J-Man to do that, I totally get it. I commend the brother, to be honest with you, you know. Somebody got to start somewhere. Not saying it's going to stop anything. Not saying it won't stop anything, but people got to start somewhere. One thing I can say is J-Man did do it. Now, is the people from O Block finna get on the mic and do it? Now it's E-Dog turn. Is he going to get on the mic and apologize to all the guys from STL, Jaro, and TW? That's why I say that was real deep. Then it's a video went viral of some guys from Risky Road, some young gang members. They riding around the ops neighborhood on Sibley. They looking for the ops. They finna bail out and get the block, 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 block. That's what they finna do. You gotta remember, I keep telling you, these shorties are so dangerous. They be playing with the switches, and I keep telling you, you get the switch, sit to knock your head off. Now remember, when you shooting a switch like that, ain't no telling where that shit gonna go.
You from Hot Block? You sure? I'm positive. What you got on you? Don't run. Come out. Hey, check it out. Come out. Come out. Come out. Don't come back right here.
So it be a lot of innocent people dying. I told you this year in Chicago, it's been more people died with multiple wounds in them than ever, which means people are going to the emergency rooms with 7, 8 bullet holes in them. That come from them switches. Well, these shorties from Risky Road is riding through the hood, looking for the ops, strapped up, heavy artillery. They ran into a random man. Now, they asked him, are you from over here, whatever? He said, no, I ain't from over here. Next thing you know, dude bail out there, boy, like, I got a shotgun. You better not run. Come here. Come here. Like, they finna rob him, or they finna press him, shoot him in the head or something like that. They thought it was funny, though. You can clearly hear them. Say, this shit is crazy, man. It's almost to the point where people's life don't mean shit no more. You know, luckily that man got away. But that just show you, man, a motherfucker kill you for no reason. That would have just been a free kill. That man ain't had nothing to do with that. You know, that man was walking. He was smart enough to know to keep walking and then stop. Don't keep walking up forward by that car. Stop and let the car go up some. He was smart enough to know that. But he would have lost his life right there. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on a lot of this stuff, man. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, but the wickedness is going on in Chicago. And J Main did apologize. It's the homie truth. Blah.
Max B and Jim Jones were two of the biggest rappers from Harlem to blow up in the rap game. But even though they started out cool, ego and jealousy turned them against each other. This is how they went from close homies to starting one of the wildest beefs in rap history. Max B and Jim Jones both grew up in Harlem, which was one of the most dangerous parts of New York at the time. Harlem in the late 80s and 90s was hit hard by the crack epidemic, but it also created tons of hip-hop legends like Big L and Dame Dash. Max B grew up in the Abraham Lincoln Projects in East Harlem. His mom was addicted to crack, and she even served 1.5 years in jail when Max was a kid. So Max was mostly raised by his grandparents in a religious household. Going to church inspired his love for music, and Max started singing in the boys' choir of Harlem. Joining the choir helped him learn how to sing, which is what gave Max B a different style when he hopped in the booth and started rapping. Growing up, Max was also childhood friends with another Harlem legend, Cam'ron. Cam went to high school at the Manhattan Center for Mathematics with Jim Jones, and that's how Max linked up with him. They shared an interest in music and all wanted to be rappers, but at the same time, they were also heavy in the streets. And before they all blew up, Max B would end up catching a case that put him behind bars before his rap career could ever really take off. In 1997, Max B was arrested for robbery and spent almost 8 years locked up. He was only 18 when he went in and didn't get out until 2005. The same year that Max went to prison, Cam and Jim Jones, along with their homie Freaky Zeke, started a crew called Dipset. Cam was already well known as a rapper in Harlem after being part of a group called Children of the Corn with Big L, Mace, and Cam's cousin Bloodshed. Children of the Corn broke up after Bloodshed was murdered, so Cam linked up with Jim Jones to start Dipset. Dipset started making waves in the early 2000s after Cam signed the deal with Dame Dash and Jay-Z's group, Rockefeller Records. Over the next few years, Cam and the rest of the crew went on a major run. In 2002, Cam dropped his classic album, Come Home With Me. They followed that up with the first Dipset album, Diplomatic Immunity. Then Jim Jones dropped his first project called On My Way to Church. So by the time Max B got out in 2005, Dipset was on top of the world. Max wanted to switch up how he moved and focus on his rap career, so he started kicking it with Cam and the rest of Dipset. Max started doing features and ended up on 2 songs from Jim Jones' second project, Harlem, Diary of a Summer. The next year, Max also did the hook for the Cam'ron song, You Gotta Love It, which was a diss track about Jay-Z. The wild diss and Max's deep singing voice caught people's attention immediately, and suddenly everyone was talking about Max B. The same year, Max also dropped his first mixtape, $1 Million Baby. Around that time, Jim Jones also started his own spin-off group called Bird Gang. Jim Jones invited Max B to be a member, along with another Dipset affiliate named Stack Bundles. Max worked on Bird Gang's first mixtape, MOB, and also appeared on Jim Jones' next mixtape, The 7 Day Theory. Max B not only had the musical talent, but he also had the street cred after serving close to 8 years in prison. So it seemed like Max B was about to be the next Dipset member to blow up. But just when he was starting to gain momentum, Max caught another case that would eventually take him off the streets for good. On September 29th, 2006, Max was arrested and charged with murder and conspiracy to commit robbery after police accused him of being the mastermind in a wild heist gone wrong. In 2005, Max met a woman named Gina Conway at a Jim Jones show in Myrtle Beach. Gina was a huge Dipset fan and wanted to get backstage to meet Juelz and Cam'ron. But when she found out they weren't there, Gina started kicking it with Max B instead. They ended up dating, and Gina moved in with Max in the Bronx, where she worked at a strip club while Max was grinding with his rap career. But the relationship was pretty toxic. Gina was a prostitute, and Max was hooking up with multiple women at the same time. They kept breaking up, and Gina eventually moved back down south, only for Max to convince her to come back to New York. One time, Gina came back and found Max living with another woman who was pregnant with his baby. Somehow, Gina ended up moving in with Max's brother, Mike, and went back to stripping. The whole story was pretty messed up, but things were about to get even crazier. While Gina was stripping in the club, she met a dude named Alan J. Plowden. Jay would always pull up to the club in a brand new white Mercedes with tons of money in the back. One night, Jay started talking to Gina after Max blew her off, and they started hanging out. Jay would always take Gina on shopping sprees and spoil her with champagne and new clothes. Gina ended up going with Jay to a Holiday Inn where he was staying with his partner, David Taylor. It turns out that David Taylor and Jay Plowden were running a mortgage and mail fraud scheme, which is why they had so much cash. Gina Conway saw all the cash Jay had in his hotel room, so she stole his key card on the way out and decided to call Max B to plan a robbery. According to Gina, she met up with Max back at the Lincoln Projects in Harlem. Max was mad that she'd been gone, so Gina decided to make him jealous by telling him all about Jay Plowden and all the money he had back at the hotel room. Jay told Gina he was going to the club, so she thought it would give her the perfect opportunity to rob the hotel room while he was gone. According to Gina, Max B called his cousin, Kelvin Leardham. Max told Gina that if she took Kelvin to the hotel room to take the money, he'd love her forever. So Gina and Kelvin went back to the Holiday Inn, but when they got there, they found Jay in the room with another woman named Giselle Neves. In another wild twist, Giselle Neves was also there to rob Jay Plowden. Giselle saw Jay in his new Mercedes and planned to go back to his hotel room to steal the keys. But before she had the chance, Gina and Kelvin burst into the room. Kelvin and Gina tied up Jay and Giselle and started trashing the room looking for the cash. They couldn't find enough money, so Gina demanded Jay call his partner David Taylor. David was sleeping on another floor and came down when Jay called him. As soon as David came into the room, Kelvin pointed a gun in his face and they started fighting. During the struggle, David ended up getting shot in the head and died. Gina and Kelvin got away with $30,000 in cash, but it didn't take long for the police to track them down and find out that Gina still had Jay Plowden's laptop. And as soon as they arrested her, Gina started talking. She claimed Kelvin was the one who shot David Taylor and that Max B was the one who set it all up. Max was immediately arrested for murder and robbery charges and held on a $2 million bail. But Max couldn't afford to pay the bail, so he was forced to sit in jail. While he was behind bars, Max's music career continued to go up. Before he went in, he recorded a few tracks for Jim Jones' third album, Hustler's Poem, which dropped in November of '06. Along with his own features, Max also wrote a lot of Jim's verses and hits, including the lead single, We Fly High. We Fly High ended up being Jim's biggest hit to date and made it to number 5 on the Billboard charts. But while Jim was living the life and enjoying the success, Max B was behind bars and fighting for his life. That's where the beef between Max B and Jim Jones really began. Max started doing interviews from jail where he dished Jim for letting him sit in jail. Max claimed that he not only wrote We Fly High, but that he also wrote all of Jim's most popular songs since they first met. Max B also said that Jim Jones owed him credit for all his success, but wouldn't even help pay his bill. Jim later brushed it off in interviews and claimed that Max was over-exaggerating about how much he wrote. While he was locked up, Max B kept feeding the streets and dropped 2 more mixtapes, Public Domain, $1 Million Baby Radio, and Public Domain 2, The Rise of the Silver Surfer. A few months went by, and Max's bail ended up getting dropped to $90,000. That's when Jim Jones came to Max B and offered him a new record deal where Max could use the advance to pay his bail and get out. But the new deal was pretty bad for Max and required him to sign over all his publishing to Jim. Max didn't want to sign the deal, but he also didn't have much of a choice and he wanted to post bail. So Max took the deal and ended up getting out after spending 10 months locked up. But when Max B got out, his relationship with Jim didn't get any better. Max was still mad that he was forced into signing a bad deal just to get his freedom back and blamed Jim Jones for taking advantage of him when he was at his lowest point. Not only was he fighting for his life, but about a month before his release, Max B lost his first homie and fellow Bird Gang member, Stack Bundles. On June 11, 2007, Stack Bundles was shot and killed in the lobby of the Redford houses in Far Rockaway, Queens. Max B and Stack Bundles were close right up to his death, and it really affected Max. Jim Jones was working on a new album and wanted Max B to write for him again so he could get another album. Max was killing it and refused to work with Jim, even though he was signed to him. There were also rumors that Jim had a falling out with Cameron and Dipset had broken up, so Max had no reason to be cool with Jim anymore. So Max B distanced himself from Dipset and started his own crew called Gang Green. Around the same time, Max also started hanging out with another New York rapper who had beef with Jim Jones named French Montana. French Montana had a major buzz in New York at the time with his Cocaine City DVD series. French and Max B knew some people in common, but they could never work together before Max got locked up because of Max's affiliation with Jim Jones and the Bird Gang. According to French Montana, this problem started after Jim Jones lied about having him set up. In 2003, French Montana was leaving a recording studio when he got into a shootout that ended with him getting shot in the head. Montana later admitted that someone in his inner circle had set him up, and Jim Jones had nothing to do with it.
The person that got me shot drove me to the hospital. So the greatest threat is always from the inside.
But French Montana claims that Jim started going around telling everyone he was involved in a situation just to help his street cred. Montana clapped back with footage of Jim arresting Dipset getting jumped in one of his Cocaine City DVDs. Then while Dipset was on tour with Fat Boy Records, Jim Jones got into an altercation with one of Biggie Small's homies, C. Gutta. Jim and C. Gutta kept running into each other and getting into small fights, but eventually it led to a massive brawl at Dipset and the Mafia. There was footage of Jim Jones and the rest of Dipset getting beat up and run out of Rock Park. So French Montana used the footage in Cocaine City to get back at Jim, which is what first started their beef. When Max B officially left Bird Gang and linked up with French Montana, they both started taking shots at Jim Jones together. Around the same time, Max B dropped a mixtape called Public Domain 3, where he ditched Jim Jones and the rest of Dipset. The cover showed Max B in the graveyard, surrounded by tombstones that said, "Here lies Millie Jim Jones," and "Here lies Vanilli Joel Santana." Milli Vanilli was a pop group from the 90s who got exposed for lip syncing other people's music.
Saying, like,
Max was taking shots at Jim Jones and Joel's for stealing songs from him and other members of Bird Gang, trying to pretend like it was their own. There was also a song on the mixtape called Lip Sync, where Max B took shots at Jim and Joel's. I told them bitches, come see me. They be acting like it ain't nothing. I know them niggas need me. I was giving them the loot, but them niggas done blew it. Max B and French Montana would also go back and forth with Jim in interviews and videos uploaded to World Star. But Jim wasn't the only target. Max also started going after Jim's wife, Chrissy Lampkin, and claimed that she gave him head by the pool in Miami. To add to the disrespect, Max even made a song called "She Touched It in Miami," where he remixed the Jim Jones song "Summer with Miami" and brags about hooking up with his wife, rapping, "She sucked it in Miami," while Big Avell hit it from the back in her fanny. Gangrene family, riding on these bitch niggas, empty up the clip, click clack, hit niggas, body spit bricks, nigga, peel on raw. Pussy talking reckless, they don't really want a war. Nigga ain't worth my time, so I'm getting at your whore. Dipset affiliate Hell Rell also got dragged into the beat. Max B and French Montana made a video that got uploaded to World Star where they went in on Hell Rell for being ugly.
Some don't mean that. It feel good.
Nigga, the doctor smacked your mother when you was born. Nigga, you're so ugly.
Who you talking about?
Hell Rell, aka.
Oh man, I gotta see this. Oh man.
AKA Hell No.
What's going on now?
Bitches see you, they go, "Oh hell no, I'm not fucking with that ugly nigga."
Max even said if he had to choose between having Hell Rell's face and doing 50 years in jail, he'd take the 50 years.
See?
Hell Rell clapped back and said that he heard a rumor that Max B and French just got married and offered up $5,000 for the wedding pictures to see Max in the dress. So at this point, beef was deeper than just Jim Jones versus Max B, and half of New York was forced to pick sides. Pretty soon, it went from disses to actual violence. In a different video, Max claims that Jim spotted him in his whip and tried to box him. Jim Jones saw Max B in the parking lot and drove up next to him so he couldn't get out. Jim and his goons tried to attack him, but Max ended up ramming Jim's Bentley so he could get out and punched him in the face. In the video, Max even showed off the dents in his car and pointed out where the fight happened. At one point, Max B and French Montana even went to confront Jim at a studio in Manhattan. They were rolling deep with a huge crew, but ended up getting stopped in the lobby. When they came out of the studio, Max B and French Montana claimed that Jim saw what was happening.
Hell nah.
Around the same time, Jim Jones and his crew also pulled up to one of Max B's shows in Brooklyn. A huge fight broke out, and Max started going wild and throwing chairs. Things got so crazy.
Hey, my bad, bro. I started crashing out like short, rocking in my
Max
chair.
and Jim were already long gone. So the beef kept heating up, and it seemed like only a matter of time.
What you
before
say,
someone got
Church?
seriously hurt or ended up dead. But before anything
you
major went
rocking
down,
your chair,
Max ended
Church?
up losing his freedom.
You ain't never been me
2008,
hurt. You ain't going
Max
to
signed
sit
a 3-album deal with an indie
sipping the
label.
margarita,
that would
you
have
bad, Church.
But Max was still technically signed to Jim Jones, so he wasn't allowed to release any real albums. Max still kept it pushing and dropped mixtapes like Coke Wave and Quarantine. Max was also working on his first album, or trying to get out of his contract with Jim. But in June
That's
2009,
bad.
Max was finally sentenced for the robbery and murder of David Taylor. Max B's ex-girlfriend, Gina Conway, had already pled guilty to armed robbery and manslaughter and agreed to testify against Max and Kelvin Laird-Ham. She blames it all on them and said Max had planned the whole thing and that Kelvin was the one who pulled the trigger and killed David Taylor. Max and Kelvin were both found guilty of 9 out of the 11 charges, including felony murder. So even though Max wasn't at the crime scene when the murder happened, he was sentenced to 75 years, while Kelvin Laird-Ham was given life plus 35 years. It seemed like everything was over for Max B, but his beef with Jim Jones still didn't end there. Max B won a lawsuit where a judge ruled that Jim Jones no longer had control over Max's music.
Mostly they always give me a little black
Max was
straw,
finally
you
able
know?
to drop an album. Max B's
I'm gonna
first
grab
studio
that
album,
black straw.
Vigilante Season,
Listen,
finally
dude,
dropped in
here.
2011 on Amalgam Digital. Max also scored another win in court after a judge granted him an appeal for his charges, which included a new lawyer and a new trial. In 2013, Max gave an interview from jail where he explained exactly where his beef with Jim Jones all started. Max said that Bird Gang had a seniority system that was inspired by Dipset. Cameron was the leader of Dipset, so Jim Jones and Jewels were under Cam. So when Jim Jones started Bird Gang, he decided he was the boss and that Max B and the rest of the crew were his workers. Instead of running it like a real crew, Jim Jones wanted everyone else to work for him. But Max felt like he was bringing too much to the table to be treated like that. Max wrote Jim's biggest hit, We Fly High, and a lot of his other popular songs. But Max wasn't getting a fair cut of the profits. Max even claims that when they did shows, Jim Jones would only pay him $300, even though Jim was easily making 10 to 15 raps. On top of that, Jim had a lot of beef in different cities, which Max got dragged into. Jim's ops would come to shows and throw chairs on stage trying to start drama. Max had to stand up to all the goons and ops only for $300. When Max got locked up for the murder, he realized his buzz was going up. But when he came home, Jim still wasn't showing Max any respect. So Max B decided that if Jim wasn't going to help put him on, he'd have to capitalize on the buzz in a different way by starting a beef. Max knew rap fans would love it, so he started dissing his former homie. The move worked, and the beef with Jim Jones made him more popular than ever. But while he was locked up, Max was more focused on fighting for his freedom than on continuing the beef with Jim. At first, his appeal was denied, but in 2016, Max caught a lucky break and had his sentence reduced. Max B's legal team argued that his original lawyer, a dude named Gerald Saluti, had a clear conflict of interest when he represented Max in court. Gerald was not only Max's lawyer, but he was also his manager and entertainment lawyer. Max was offered a plea deal for 10 years, but his lawyer Gerald convinced Max to turn the plea deal down and take it to trial. Max B's new legal team argued that the old lawyer Gerald knew that if Max got 10 years, he'd stop making money off his career. But if Max beat the case and came home a legend, he can make Gerald, his lawyer and manager, millions.
Okay.
After reviewing the evidence, the judge agreed to overturn the original convictions. Max was still found guilty and sentenced to 20 years, but he was credited with time served, which meant Max could be home as early as 2025. It seems like his time locked up gave Max a whole new perspective on life. In the DJ Vlad interview from prison, Max said his beef with Jim Jones a long time ago and that they've all grown up and moved past it. Max said they had their issues, but when he comes home, the only thing Max wants to do is focus on making music.
I don't know what was
In
happening with the
2020,
camera and what happened.
Jim Jones also squashed his 15-year beef with French Montana.
I just want to use
They
that
got
brick.
an IG live session
See, I
together
told you,
and
brick
laughed about all
babies
the
are
crazy
damn
situations
curse,
they
bro.
got into over
Anytime
the
you
years.
say brick,
Jim Jones is also
see what was
featured in
happening?
French Montana's song Too Late on
Yeah.
the Coke Boys 5 album.
Crazy.
But apparently, Jim does not have the same energy for Max B. During an interview, Jim was asked if he would ever work with Max B again. Jim immediately shut the question down.
Will you work with Max B when he gets out of jail?
Fuck Max B.
Okay.
Damn, Jim.
Okay.
Fuck Max
Who
B.
knows if the beef between Max B and Jim Jones will ever really end? Max could finally come home in the next few
Would you
years.
ever work with Max
So,
B when he gets
fans will have to
out?
wait and
Nah,
see
fuck
if they
Max
put the
B,
past
yo.
behind them and link
Son.
up or continue going at each other's necks.
Dead ass B. That was it.
And Max B.
Right. Oh, this is the explained. That's a different one. Okay, let's see. What else you say, Coaster?
Max B and Jim Jones were two of the biggest
Excuse me. All right. We got. Is that it? That's all you told me. Oh, the killer. Yeah, the killer. What's it called? The Court TV. Court TV. Catfishing for murder. Let's see what this is. Gypsy. It's a good one. Interview with a killer. Oh, yeah, this is some deep. This is some cold shit, probably. It's that cold shit.
I didn't actually think we were gonna kill her. But when she started freaking out, saying she's gonna go to the cops and everything else, that's when he shot her. I was just like, well, problem solved.
What?
I know, but at the time, that's what I was thinking. Problem solved.
It was a murder made for modern times, dubbed the catfishing murder.
A teenager in Anchorage, Alaska has been charged with killing her best friend.
It all began with a bizarre online catfishing scheme.
Darren Schillmiller posed as a millionaire online, offering $9 million to, quote, rape and murder someone in Alaska.
What? He's a good catfisher.
He was a good catfisher. I mean, this is one thing I'll give him props for. I mean, he got me, so he's a good catfisher.
A brutal crime concocted on the internet that landed one teenage girl in prison for life and another in an early grave.
It's just like the wolf needing the lambs to slaughter. That kid took that gun and shot my niece in the back of the head. And then my niece was still breathing, kicked her into the river.
You chose the victim.
Yeah, she needed payback for what she did.
Payback with her life?
No. That's on me.
In your own words, you become a mastermind of plots to murder and sexually assault. Is that fair?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it.
All right, man. This hoe is wicked. She got her friend killed for a cash out. What the fuck? Coach, you're so please, bro. This hoe is wicked. Yeah, you're so please, bro. Yeah. Cash out? How much was I don't know how much she said. Oh, she said $1 million, right? No? I think it was $1 million. Are you listening? Yeah.
Just outside Anchorage, Alaska, it's easy to find yourself awestruck by the thick forests and towering mountains that border the city's skyline. But hidden in this vast wilderness and natural beauty are the remnants of an horrific crime. A crime as unforgiving as the harsh landscape. These same trees also hide the Highland Mountain Correctional Center, and in it, the young woman who committed the crime, Denali Bremer.
That's her name, Denali Bremer. That's foul.
Bremer orchestrated the murder of her friend, Cynthia Hoffman, for the promise of money from a man she met online. 5 years later, now serving a 99-year sentence, Denali Bremer says she's ready to talk about the catfishing murder. Is this your first interview?
Yes. I want to apologize kind of like to everybody that didn't get to hear that or see that.
She looked crazy.
Off my conscience. Even though I was heavily advised against it, not just by my lawyer, but by other people in the prison as well, I figured it was time to just say my part. So you've all heard one side of the story, so it's time for mine. And I've already admitted guilt, and so I'm ready to finally fully take responsibility for what I've done, so.
Yeah.
Bremer says she's not the same person she was when she carried out the murder plot in 2019, and that she's finally ready to come clean. I'm here to try to learn whether either of those claims are true, and how a teenager could be drawn into a murder plot on the internet by a man she hardly knew.
I wasn't at the right headspace at the time. It took me a lot to get to the point where I'm like finally sober and clear-headed. So I'm not blaming drugs or anything, but they did have a big impact on my judgment.
It sounds like you're kind of blaming drugs and everything.
Not everything. Like my judgment was my own, my actions were my own.
Her story begins with
Bitch, stop
violence
lying.
as a little girl with a different name, Denali Dakota Sky Bremer.
Did you hear that? Because they said
that the name you were given at birth?
Drugs, though.
I was adopted around 7. My original name was Alexandria Baker.
And why? Why would they change your name?
Oh, shit.
Because of what it came with. The reason why I got taken out of my bio family's home was because of a gruesome murder that happened there. So they changed my name in hopes of giving me like a new start.
A new start, a new identity?
I would hope.
But Bremer's rescue into an adoptive home
You would
might have
hope,
come
huh?
too late to recover from the damage already done,
Crazy.
including witnessing the murder of her infant sister by her mother's then boyfriend.
They were newborns basically. Gabrielle won't stop crying. And Corianne, her twin sister, cried too. And to shut her up, he bashed them together and threw her against the ground.
What?
Corianne barely survived. Gabrielle unfortunately didn't.
What the
And
fuck?
when they found us, we were hiding in the closet covered in blood.
You were?
Me and my sisters were.
How old were you at the time?
I was about 2.
By late teen years, Denali Bremer had grown into a serial delinquent.
I started doing like meth and coke and heroin.
Did you at the time own guns legally?
No, you
She
can't
sounds
own guns legally
about
at
feel like it
17.
was nothing.
I carry them around
Asked her head on
because
the
like
fucking
doing
ground,
drugs.
yeah.
I'm dealing them. And it's a dangerous kind of lifestyle, so you should pass just in case.
So you were dealing drugs as well?
Yes, I don't lie about that. I was not just dealing drugs. I was also kind of whoring myself out
That was
so
too
for
crazy,
money.
man.
So when you deal with those kind of people, you also need protection too.
So
Already
doing
hit an hour.
drugs,
We hit an
dealing
hour in here,
drugs,
y'all.
and there's sex work
Yeah.
for money.
People left.
I mean, like I got no
Right,
shame in
you
admitting
crazy
that.
today.
I mean, if somebody ODs on the drugs, it's not the dealer's fault. I didn't make him take
I
it.
had 4 and I went to 2.
At
I had
18,
3.
Bremer says she was raped and impregnated and left traumatized. But within weeks of delivering a baby girl, she was back online selling sex and tempting fate. And that's when you meet a man on
selling that
who calls
cat.
himself Tyler.
Yeah.
And
At
not
first his name
only
was Hayden.
snatching people's
And
head
then
off
when
the
he gave
ground
me
like
Snapchat, it
wow,
was
but she was
Tyler,
selling
which
that
kind of was a
cat.
red flag. But then again,
Whoa,
I've seen it multiple times
Hold
because I don't
on,
want to give you a
Mark.
real name.
At what
It's a
point
weird
did
big
he start asking
over here,
you
killer
to
ass.
do sexual things for money?
That's
I mean,
a
that's kind of
cold
like how we
piece.
met. Was on the dating app. Hey, I'll do this for
That's a
cash.
cold
If you
piece.
want to know anything more, text me. So like he knew right out the bat what I was up to, and so that's where I make my money. So he was sending me money for photos for
He
me
was
to
paying you
for photos and videos.
for
Yeah.
photos and videos
I
at
get
that
my
point.
money.
And I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, he was paying me a lot.
And the requests get more and more perverted.
Yeah, he was like pushing more and more money towards me.
Was that not a red flag for you that he's
Well, I
starting
mean-
to ask for more and more perverted
Not a red
things?
flag.
I've had that before. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of guys have asked for it before.
So it's not that
Hey, so this is
outside
you
of
should have got on the real
prior
catfish.
experience.
Would have
Man,
been
interesting
offered.
story.
I assume that he
Killer
was not using
catfish.
his real picture.
No, he wasn't. Or his real credit card. You can just
You
you
would've
can
got
set
her
up
on
a
the
PayPal
drug.
nowadays with
Yeah.
anything. So he was using a PayPal account to pay me.
And he made some outlandish claims
Oh, she
about
hit to
his
the
wealth,
PayPal.
right?
Yeah,
About
right.
all of that. And did that seem plausible to you?
Send it to
Well, I
the
mean, at first no,
PayPal.
but then like when my PayPal started blowing up with bigger and bigger sums, it started to kind of like maybe make sense.
He's telling you he loves you.
Yeah.
In fact, you're telling each other
You
you're in love.
knew that.
Yeah, I
you
told him that
stupid
too, but
whore.
like I don't know. Even like now, I'm starting to question if I really believed it. Like I just think I just kept wanting
I'm not
him to
sorry.
get me easy money.
I'm down for.
Of course, Tyler wasn't who he appeared to be. In fact, he was 21-year-old Darren Schillmiller living in his grandparents' basement in Indiana. But it's also becoming evident to me that Denali Bremer was no naive, unwitting victim of a bad online influence. In fact, at this stage in the interview, it's not clear to me who was the predator and who was the prey, in this case of catfishing.
Yeah, stop for a second.
Better, yeah.
In this particular case, this is kind of goes both ways. You know, the typical catfishing tends to be a one-way deal. This is different in that they're playing each other. You know, and you don't see that in most situations. And so it makes it interesting from that standpoint. Like, you're playing me, I'm playing you. Let's see where this
This
goes.
guy right here, bro, with the black.
Former
suit on.
FBI agent Brad Garrett spent decades hunting down and interrogating some of America's most wanted. In this case, he sees two criminal minds simultaneously at work.
I think he was playing somebody that looked a lot better than he did. He's great. He's, you know, he's attractive. He's rich. She sees a ticket here, a ticket of
99
money.
years, yeah.
But in addition to that, I'm also getting attention, and this guy's good looking. So it's more like what I'm getting out of this, which tends to fit more of a personality of somebody that grew up desperate, that internalized their feelings, and now it's all about control of getting what I want, no matter what the outcome might be. She's now using him, despite the fact she's getting attention and maybe attracted to him and all that stuff. But she's working him.
And he, in turn, was working her, offering her more and more money to photograph sex acts with adults and sex crimes with children. And soon, a murder.
How much money are we talking about?
$9 million.
$9 million.
Apparently.
Did it not occur to you that he was playing you?
Well, I mean, it was really hard to,
that's how much
because
he
I
was.
did look up all the photos online. None of them came back as
Cold
anything. I looked up the number. It was registered to the name he had given to me. Looked up the PayPal. It was registered to the name he was given to me.
So he was a good catfisher.
He was a good catfisher. I mean, there's one thing I'll give him props for. I mean, he's got me, so he's a good catfisher.
Both predators had met their match and were about to conspire on a barbaric crime.
How, Denali,
Catfish,
how
you
did
call him the catfish.
murder first come up?
Interview with a killer.
We've had some tragedies up here, but I wouldn't live anywhere else. I'm gonna move on. Tim, who is the father of Cynthia, is my brother. She was a very smart, bright, vibrant young lady. She loved life. She loved music. She liked shopping, just regular kid stuff. She had just graduated from high school. She worked for a local restaurant, and she was doing very well.
Cynthia Hoffman was blissfully unaware. The 18-year-old she considered her best friend had targeted her in a murder plot. Her uncle, Don Hoffman, says that was characteristic of her trusting nature and naivete.
She was not judgmental of people, so she was easily brought in. She met Denali Bremer, I think, at a mall, and she did consider her best friend at one point. My niece was, I don't know how to explain it. She was just very drawn to Denali, you know, and thought that was her friend when it wasn't her friend.
Cynthia, or Cece, was developmentally delayed, and Hoffman says she missed the red flags about Denali Bremer that were so obvious to him.
Denali was the type of person she was like a predator. She was looking for her next victim. I had met her a couple times at Tim's house, and there was something about her that wasn't right. They were all sitting in the front room, and I'd met her, and then when I met her, I just kind of turned around and I just shook my head like, you know, I can't believe that you're letting CC run around with these people. You just know them type of people. You knew that they were into drugs, into different things. And I told Tim that. And he goes, I know. He goes, but Cynthia is an adult. She has the right to choose whoever she hangs out with.
Give me my gun back. That is mine.
But Denali Bremer and her friends were very bad company.
You judging them? Pig. You're a pig.
16-year-old Caden McIntosh would become her triggerman in the murder case.
Soft safety.
Caleb Leland was also in the mix, knowingly providing the vehicle used in the crime. And all the while, text messages show Darren Schillmiller, still posing online as Tyler, was tasking Bremer, who's using the alias Angel, with vicious sex crimes involving minors in exchange for money.
So he's dictating to you how he wants you to molest children.
Yeah,
Hold
he
her
tried.
down, fight her. impress me.
Yeah, he tried that. But when I read those messages, I was mad at my friends.
But you seem to be going along with it.
Yeah, but again, like I wasn't the one texting him during that time. My co-defendants, they were the ones texting him when he was asking for a lot of that stuff. They were like, well, we pretended to be you, and he gave us more money for like some of your old videos and stuff. And I was like, what?
But you don't deny that you're
I don't
in
deny
this
I finally read it.
that you're in a dialogue with him where he's asking for you to do things, criminal things, and you are participating in it, planning it, responding to him.
Yeah, that was like right up until he, like, basically the murder. But like for, again, like for about a day or two, I wasn't texting him.
Cynthia Hoffman was no match for the conniving of Bremer and her co-conspirators, especially after Bremer says they had a falling out over their ex-boyfriends.
How, Denali, how did murder first come up?
So, I was shooting up in the backseat of my car. I was shooting up some meth, like with a little coke, and it only happened like a few days prior to the murder. So me and Susie had a huge fight, and she blasted all over her social media. We got this huge argument over a guy because I slept with her ex. She slept with mine.
Okay.
I'm not proud of it.
Tit for tat. Okay.
And well, Tyler, Darren, found out and, you know, kind of played it on my emotions, and my jealousy hit me again. And I'm not gonna lie, I got petty and I was mad.
So who first brought up the prospect of murder? Was it you or was it him?
Darren. Darren's the one that first came up with it.
Eventually, he offers you $9 million to commit and photograph a murder.
He had already offered that, and I was like, okay, this. But my friend was like, no, it's real. Look, it says in transaction. I'm like, what? Because, and I looked, and I was like, oh. So I didn't know what to think.
Did you really think it was possible to send $9 million on PayPal?
Well, I mean, not on PayPal, but if you know how to do wire transfers, then yeah, I could work on a wire transfer.
You chose the victim.
Yeah, it was a group thing too, but initially, when we all came up with it, I agreed and said yeah, because I was mad at her and she was mad at me, and I was just over her. And I wanted to make amends. I did want to make amends, but
you wanted to make
she
amends, but you killed her.
Payback for
No. You begged for it.
Her life.
No.
She begged.
That's
for
all.
it.
You chose the place.
Yeah.
Why there?
Bro.
I guess place of opportunity.
You wanted to make
Thunderbird
amends.
Falls is a 200-foot
Beg
waterfall
for it.
that cuts through a rich birch forest just outside Anchorage. Bremer and McIntosh would lead Cynthia to an isolated spot in the woods overlooking the creek.
There had been a lot of premeditation and planning, right?
Yeah, there had been, and I was the only one with a gun, so I brought my Kel-Tec 9mm with me.
Tell me what was the plan?
It was just originally just to kill her. I don't know, like they didn't like plan anything out, you know, like how they were gonna do it or whatever. So it was.
What do you mean
just-
they? Because you're at the center of it.
Not really at the center. I guess
you're on her
we're
own,
trying to
bro.
figure it out. But I thought they were kidding.
Were you kidding?
No,
You were serious.
no,
You were kidding or you were serious? Which one is?
somewhere in between.
What?
I wanted her to pay for what she did, but I didn't want to kill her. I just wanted to, like, I guess, leave a lasting impression on her.
Okay, but by then you had agreed
To kill her.
to kill her,
Kill her, yeah, because I
for
thought,
money,
yeah.
right? To take her to Thunderbird Falls, to bound her with
But
duct
actually,
tape.
that just Caden came up with that suggestion while we were there. He had brought duct tape.
Okay,
I didn't even know he had it on him.
okay, but
He had
you were
big pockets.
you maybe you weren't responsible for the duct tape, but you were part and parcel of this whole conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
You're not denying that, right?
No, like I knew about it like the day of and what we
Well,
were
you
doing.
say you
and I
knew
drove
about it, but
past.
you not just knew about it.
Yeah,
you
and-
you created the plan.
Well, I didn't create any plan. There was no plan.
June 2nd,
You
2019.
created it. He's on her.
In as much detail as you can recall, tell me what happened that night. You told Cynthia you were going to go on a hike, right?
Well, I said in the message we're gonna go on a hike, but when code is we're gonna go get high and smoke some pot or
But in fact,
shoot up, and we
in
did.
fact, you had a plan, a plot to murder her that
Yeah.
day, right?
I don't know how. I didn't even know how we were gonna do it.
You walk into I've seen the place. It's a beautiful place. You walk into the trail. You're carrying the gun.
Yeah, it was on my hip holster. It was. I'm not denying it was mine. It's just I'm not the one that pulled it. I'm not the one that shot her. I'm not the one that actually went through with everything. I'm just the one that had the means to do it.
Bremer and McIntosh walked Cynthia down to the creek and bound and gagged her with duct tape. They're the only two people alive who know exactly what happened next.
And then she started freaking out, and that's when she said she's gonna go to the cops. She's gonna
Makes no
do
sense,
this. She's
bro.
gonna report us. She's gonna like get him in trouble, get us in trouble, and that's when we both panicked. And I was like, I can't get arrested. I got a bunch of dope in my car, so I didn't want to go to jail for drug charges or kidnapping and assault because she was like,
Would you rather go
she
to
had,
jail for murder again? For real?
written marks from the tape. So she's gonna get us for assault and kidnapping. And I was like, okay. Well. And that's when he grabbed some gun out my holster, and then he just walked right up to her and shot her back in the head. I've never seen a man go so calm. Just walk up behind somebody and shoot them in the back of the head.
Bang.
Damn, did you have to say that, Pete?
One shot.
Bang.
One shot.
Back of the head. Execution
Oh,
style.
shit.
You watched her struggle, right?
Yeah, we
I
did.
told her on the stage.
Lots of chances to change your mind. She reached for her phone to call help.
No, she never had her phone.
I
Kate
thought I was the
took
only
it.
one that seen it on the
You
stage.
reached for the 9mm.
I did at first, but then I
About 99
stopped
on the
myself,
set, I'm
and I was like, "This is stupid." But I didn't actually do anything
Ballet
when
Rose?
because she hasn't been threatening us yet. She just went over by the river, and then she started threatening us and yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs.
And you thought that the way to control the damage was to
Because I'm about to get some
go through with the plan and murder her?
Well, I just went along with it because problem solved, right? And
That sounds
I
really
know
heartless.
it sounds heartless,
No,
but
I
not
think
now.
so.
Like now, I'm just like that was
You don't
super
have to
stupid
take
and
it, but
shouldn't have done it. But at the time, that's what I was thinking. Problem
Yeah.
solved.
Did you watch him point it at her head?
Yeah,
What were you doing
Yeah.
when he aimed the gun at the back of her head?
staring.
Staring.
Bro,
Didn't say anything. I just
this is the most fucking
guess I
hilarious shit
Did you try to
ever.
stop him?
no. There wasn't time to. I didn't scream though.
What?
Did you watch him push her into the river? Did you see her twitching after the gunshot?
I just
I didn't
popped
want to
her.
look.
Oh,
But
damn.
she wasn't moving at all.
Did it occur to you at that point that you had just gone from troubled teen to teenage murderer?
Like,
When we were
bro,
in the car coming back,
the way that
yeah.
you nonchalant
Not
about
at that
it.
exact moment in time. No, in that exact moment in time, my only thought was, get out of here,
Get out of here.
leave.
Was there indication that Miss Bremer had talked about killing Cece?
Yes.
In fact, during the messages, didn't she actually at some point say, "I literally killed for you"?
Yes, she did.
I'm not an accomplice to murder. I'm a victim too.
Denali Bremer makes her getaway and takes to social media to craft her defense.
Yes, she did.
He took my gun from me. He already threatened me a lot, and I don't want to die before I can testify against the mother who killed my friend.
Yeah, right. You played that whole shit out. You killed your friend.
At age 18, Denali Bremer conspired to walk her friend deep into the woods and murder her in exchange for $9 million,
Playing the game.
offered by a man she only knew online as Tyler. For the first time, she's speaking publicly about the crime and the cover-up.
When I turned back around, she was in there. Covered. Blood. And then he grabs my hand and we take off and we go to this path.
I'm crashing
go
out
around
while thinking I'm
And
sharp.
make our way back to the car.
You're just making your getaway.
In a way, yeah. We're leaving. And
Oh,
I'm so surprised
Well,
nobody
you're,
heard the
you're fleeing.
gunshot.
You're fleeing the scene of the crime.
Yeah, we're fleeing the scene of the crime. And so I get to the car and I get into the driver's side.
Are you crying? Are you screaming? Are you?
I wasn't doing anything at that point. I didn't know really what to do. And I get these Clorox wipes
You
out.
didn't know what to do?
And he wipes his hands off and stuff. And I wipe mine because he'd gotten it on me.
Blood on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ditches
Blood
herself
on
on
your
there. He
hands.
burns it actually. And he was about to
What
burn
was the
mine. But
breakdown?
I'm like,
What
don't
was
ruin my phone.
You sure?
He was like, okay.
That's what you were thinking?
Well, because like, I
And you
didn't know
just
what
killed-
else to say. Like, because he was gonna burn my phone right then in the parking lot, and
Right, but how do you even have the presence of mind to worry about your phone when you just killed and dumped your friend in the river?
I don't really have the presence of mind. I'm just thinking moment to moment. Like, I need to drive here. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to not focus on what just happened.
And then you went home and you told your biological mother what you did.
I told him we needed an alibi. Look, so for all of you who are asking what really happened, I did not shoot her.
In the days that followed, Bremer posted a series of deranged messages denying her guilt in the crime.
I didn't do. Honestly, I was held at gunpoint and told to do whatever he says and I'll live.
And even claiming to be a victim of it.
So I just heard that evidently Caden Brian McIntosh, the guy that shot my best friend in front of me, and all y'all haters saying that I was involved in it, just got out on bail. I'm actually kind of scared.
Scene of the crime? Yeah.
Because I know you have guns, Mom, but still, I don't want to die before I can testify against the mother.
Why would you
who killed my
see the
friend?
crime
All
then?
y'all saying that I'm fake and that I had something to do with it and that I used her and that he was my boyfriend. That I'm dating somebody else.
At some point, did Ms. Bremer come over to your house with another individual and disclose some information?
Yes, she did. I was told that they had gone out to Thunderbird Falls with a friend of theirs, a young lady by the name of Cece, and that Caden had shot Cece in the head and pushed her body into the Kootenai River.
Instead of giving her daughter an alibi, Bremer's mother called police.
So you eventually called police.
I called them the following day.
And what was the reason that you kind of waited until the next day to call them?
I honestly thought they were screwing with me. I thought it was all either a joke or some kind of test to see how loyal I was to her as my daughter. The following day, I saw the news report and I knew that I couldn't, in good conscience, not come forward with the information that I had.
Bremer was quickly arrested. Then a police investigation revealed that Bremer was the plot's mastermind and ordered Caden McIntosh to pull the trigger.
Oh, shit.
Now, 5 years later, the young woman who told me she's ready to take responsibility is changing her story again and pointing the blame elsewhere.
You told the police.
Remember the
that
Canadian, something piss or something like that?
it's your gun,
It was my gun.
right?
I don't
And
deny it
you
was my gun.
ordered
Remember that shit he
I didn't
did?
order
you
him.
ordered the execution of
No.
Cynthia.
Ginger ale.
No, I did not order him to do anything. We
You
panicked.
didn't give him the gun and tell him to shoot her?
No.
Why'd you
I
tell the
again
police
told
that?
them that because I was trying to protect Caden
Yeah,
at
Brody,
first.
Reading the record,
didn't know
it
what to
sounds like
think.
the opposite. Because at first, you were pointing the finger at him.
Well, he did
and-
shoot her.
And then you admitted that you ordered him to do it because you could not pull the trigger.
No, I never ordered him to do it.
It sounds like you're now, after confessing to the police that you ordered him to shoot her, that you were the mastermind. It sounds like you're now backtracking and pointing the finger at others to reduce your culpability. That's what it sounds like.
I'm not trying to fully do that. I'm just saying what really happened now. Like, even in the interview room, when I listen to my interview, you have this guy leading me, just like, yes, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, and gave, and I was like, I guess I did. Yeah, I did. And
You're
this
claiming now that this was a false confession, a
No,
coerced
it-
confession?
part certain details, yeah.
That's not a detail. That is the definition of first-degree murder. You premeditated, planned the event,
Well, we did
and then-
premeditate it,
and then
plan it.
ordered the execution of Cynthia Hoffman.
So we did premeditate it. We did talk about it, and I guess we planned it in stupid ways. But I never ordered him to shoot her. That's the one thing that they and I myself got wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. In my own head, the way like I see it is, I didn't actually pull the trigger. I was just the catalyst. I was the thing that.
Do you think that
turned
makes
the
you
whole
any
thing.
less a murderer?
No, it doesn't make me any less a murderer. It just is something on my conscience that I didn't actually be the one to kill somebody.
You ain't no more guiltier than the shooter, Charlie.
Like, I haven't
You
physically
need-
taken a human life. I was just the catalyst of taking one, and that is my burden to bear because she's dead because of me. That's my responsibility. That's on me.
You're saying you're taking responsibility,
You ain't
but you're also saying that
I'm not the one that shot her.
Big church.
I don't know. There's just something like that always gets me when people be like, well, you shot somebody. Well, no, I didn't. Everybody always tries to come up and say that, but I didn't actually shoot her.
You did murder her, though.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
I don't know. I guess there's just like a big difference with the physical part of actually doing it to somebody than being the one to make it happen. I don't know. There's just,
it's still the same.
For me, there's a difference between actually shooting somebody and being that like willing to do it, because like I wasn't willing to do it.
It's still the same thing.
But he was.
And you know that you yourself was willing to murder somebody.
Yeah.
Did it for that 9 mil, baby.
Denali, of course there's sympathy for a troubled teenage girl who suffers the kind of abuse that you did. But your crimes are so brutal, so depraved and premeditated that there's nothing that really explains, let alone excuses them. You agree with that?
Yeah.
What?
You do. There's no excuse, no explanation even.
Not really.
This is not a crime where, you know, like a lot of serious youth crime done on impulse. Yours was premeditated and planned and conniving. And again, the sheer brutality of it, it looks less like a terrible mistake and more like your true character.
I can tell you right now that is not my true character.
I know, I got the champagne.
Was it then?
Pushed to that point, it used to be. That's like definitely the worst I've ever been. My lowest point.
Oh shit, church.
That's my monstrous side.
Your monstrous side. You've done a fair amount of finger pointing towards other people away from yourself in our conversation. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I
It
do.
kind of contradicts the idea that you are fully taking responsibility. You're parsing, for example, whether or not you are the same kind of murderer that McIntosh is because he pulled the trigger and you didn't. You're pointing the fingers at others who may have, you say, texted Tyler, you know, as you. You're denying the child porn charges. You're denying making your younger sibling a victim of that. You're doing a lot of not taking responsibility.
It's just like the media got a lot wrong. The cops got a lot
they get
wrong.
wrong?
The co-defendants and I did a lot wrong. We all did something really up. And I take responsibility for my part 100%. It's just I'm not willing to take responsibility for theirs.
I think for Denali, this interview is all over the place.
Here
I
we go
think
with
it
this guy
is
again.
to get some things off her chest. But in her mind,
dumb, she keeps
she wants
changing
to
her
convince
story,
us, like
LOL.
she apparently has done quite well in the judicial system,
You're right,
of
bro.
convincing people of vote for me. And,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
some of that's true. Obviously, she's
Don't
had
know
a
what to
troubled
say,
life.
bro. She's trying to make it
But
sound like
she now is using
He has to
this
try to
diminishment to sort of paint her in a better light. It's almost
In a
like
better light.
I'm in the back row of
I don't
that.
think you can
I'm
paint
not
her in a
in the
better
front
light,
row.
sir. She
And
planned
maybe
the
Caden
murder.
pulled the
When they
gun
asked about
from
it,
her.
they said,
Maybe
"Hey,
he
well, I
didn't.
really didn't
But
want
the
to
point
kill her,
being,
but
if we
I
go with
wanted to
her
make a thing with
scenario,
her, but
but she didn't do anything to
just
stop
asking
it.
for it."
She could have said,
What? What?
"Caden, give me that gun," or physically try to stop it. It's really telling that she really was okay at that moment with it happening.
Crazy.
Bremer may be trying to take a back seat now, but there's substantial evidence she was in the driver's seat when the plot was carried out, even providing proof of the crime to her catfishing partner.
At what point did you send pictures to Tyler of Cynthia Hoffman in the process of
This gangster as fuck.
this plot?
Controlling killers.
There
Oh, my
was
mama,
a
bro,
video
G.
that
Bro,
we had taken, and then I guess there was a photo of her bound.
When Denali Bremer agreed to accept the promise of millions from a man she met online to murder her teenage friend, the deal was predicated on photographic proof, and Bremer delivered.
At what point did you send pictures to Tyler of Cynthia Hoffman
Hey,
in
that's
the
the
process
shit
of
you heard on like
this
Family
plot?
Guy?
There was a video that
Like, well, the
we had taken, and then I guess there was a photo of her bound.
And when did you send those?
I guess.
They had already been sent like right after I took them, right after he took them, right after.
So after the murder.
No, this was like right when.
Before the murder.
Yeah, this was when we were still down there.
So as you were torturing her.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
She was never really tortured.
Well,
She was.
by so duct taping somebody against their will.
She was willing. Like, he suggested
she wasn't,
it
right?
until she wasn't.
Ultimately, Bremer received no payment from her catfishing accomplice, Darren Schillmiller, who was also sentenced to 99 years by the state of Alaska.
Yeah, he be trolling. That was a good one, bro.
Schillmiller and Bremer are also serving simultaneous 30-year federal sentences for child pornography. But none of that has deterred Bremer from appealing to the state of Alaska to reduce her sentence.
Doesn't justice require that you spend the rest of your life behind bars?
People would say that yes, it demands it, and I don't see myself getting out anytime soon.
But you are working on an appeal to reduce your sentence.
I am working on the appeal, yes, to reduce the state sentence.
What does that say about you?
So
on one hand, you say you've taken full responsibility.
I have, but well, I mean, I'm already spending the rest of my life in here. But 99, I mean, you can give me 80, and I'll still be serving the rest of my life in prison. You know, it doesn't. I mean, the number is just kind of like what hits hard.
You think you deserve to get out of prison? Do you think you deserve another chance after what you've done?
Huh? Oh yeah.
I think everybody deserves a second chance if they're truly ready for it. And I know by that time, I'll be ready. Not now. I'm not asking to get out tomorrow. I mean, 30 years is a lot to work on myself, 40 years, 50 years. And if by that time I'm finally ready to try again, I can try again.
Your letter to the judge, sentencing, contains, it seems like, some honest truths, but also a lot of platitudes, like you're just saying what you're supposed to say, right?
No, I
No?
came up with that myself because I am committed to change. I'm committed to bettering myself. I'm trying every day to just do one good thing.
She seems to know what to say. For example, she writes the judge, it's full of platitudes that you would want to hear. Is that a thing that people who are criminally minded know often what they're supposed to say?
Well, of course, but you know, everyone tries to paint themselves in a better light. Take it away from crime, and we all in resumes, and we will paint ourselves in the rosiest light. It's no different here. And obviously, one of the things that helps you in criminal cases is when you admit responsibility. If you say to them, I didn't do this, and I'm not taking responsibility for anything, you've now added onto your sentence probably. So I'm sure most lawyers will counsel their clients to go that route. Some won't. She clearly has decided that was the route to go.
Think so?
Bremer's plea for leniency contained references to her troubled childhood and the phrase, hurt people, hurt people.
There's truth to the phrase, hurt people, hurt people.
Yes.
But you must know that most hurt people don't do anything approaching the vicious crimes you committed,
No.
right? I think your sister said it best. We all had really hard lives. And I feel like she took the wrong road with the wrong people, and now she's paying the ultimate cost.
Wait, what sister?
Brenna?
Brenna said that?
Yes.
Like, I don't really know my sisters. I don't know Brenna, Rebecca,
But
or
the point
Corey
is,
Ann.
the point is that even
Sure.
your own siblings
Yeah.
going through a lot of the early trauma that you did, right? Even their verdict on you is that you chose this. You chose bad. I don't believe you were born bad, do you?
No man is born evil.
So you chose bad.
Yeah, it's a choice.
How do you account for that, Denali?
Guilty.
It was the next day, which was June 3rd. And my
got
brother
it.
had called me. He goes, look, Cece hasn't showed up all night.
gonna go to
I ain't gonna be able to get a
Bernie.
hold of her. Something's going
That's
on.
the shit right there.
Cynthia Hoffman's uncle Don and her father woke up to her absence the day after the murder, suspecting that something had gone terribly wrong.
He had a thing where you check in. You had to
Unless
check in.
you got
You had to
something
check
else
in
you
every
wanna
2
tweet,
hours,
Usher, text me on
no matter what.
Or actually
Text,
put it in the chat.
call, whatever. And if dad calls, you better have your butt home. You're living at his house. It's his rules. He was getting texts from her, but he was calling her at the same time, and she wasn't picking up the phone. He knew it wasn't her.
The Hoffman family lost Cynthia forever. Do you remember her heartbroken father's public appearances?
I tried not to really focus on what he would say because, again, like 5 years ago, I'm not the same person I am today. So 5 years ago, when he first was doing that, I was mad and I was angry and I wasn't sympathetic. Then 2 years ago, I went through a really big change, and that led to the person that's sitting across from you today. I went and did this treatment program, and when a speaker spoke, he connected to something I haven't felt in a long time, something I buried really deep, is a feeling of empathy. Now it sounds monstrous now, but 2 years ago, I finally connected with empathy on a much deeper and more intimate level
It
than I
did
ever had
sound
in my
monstrous.
life.
How the hell
And I
by,
felt it.
simply by
Niggas
him
saying
saying,
shit about you
how would you
killing
feel
dudes.
if it was you?
Huh?
That's all it took?
You hear this
When he
shit?
asked that final question, everything just kind of clicked.
I didn't
What
really
if it
pay
was you?
attention
That's
to
when it
that because I was
finally hit me. When he asked it, everything just fell into place for me.
You were 22 at the time, and before that, it never crossed your mind,
Well, I mean, it didn't not cross my mind. It never really
landed.
fully clicked. Yeah, that's when I was like, I need to make this right. I need to do something to make this right.
Yeah, no, you don't need to get let out.
I
No,
think
not even
Denali
10 years.
feels that she's got insight and maybe feels better about herself, not the crime itself.
Keep her in there, y'all.
But, you know, the key with any of these situations, and I don't know if she'll experience this, will she be a different person when she gets out of prison? Because I've had so many parolees I've sent back to prison because they were model inmates, went to therapy, had a great job, security guards loved them, and then they get out and they go right back into the life that they had had 5, 10, 15 years before. It's hard to break the record of who you are.
Cynthia's mother, we're told, didn't leave the house for a year and a half. She was so bereaved. And you know, her father was later killed in a motorcycle accident on a memorial ride in tribute to his dead daughter, who you took from him. That wouldn't have happened but for your crimes.
Yeah, and the mother's in critical condition in the hospital. And I know, like, the family, I'm the least and last person they want to hear this from, but I really hope she pulls through and that she survives and is going to be okay.
Your own family has to walk around with this forever, including your sisters, right?
My sisters, my brothers.
All of those people
My
got
parents.
life sentences. Do you not think that you got what you deserved? 99 years from the state, 30 years from the federal government?
I just want to be able to be given a second chance eventually to try to make it up to the community outside of here. And as this is like my first interview ever, I think I'm handling it. Okay, my lawyer told me not to do this, but I'm gonna try to do better.
Bremer is now serving her sentence at a facility with a reputation for soft time, nicknamed Camp Cupcake. And she says she's trying to use the time well.
Well, thank you for your time.
Will I get lunch?
She seemed pleased with her first ever interview, but she couldn't account for all the damage she has done. Damage that has only gotten worse for the Hoffman family since Denali Bremer murdered Cynthia.
And that's why she never deserves to get out. She better not get no appeal. And she better watch her back in there because CC had a lot of friends. One of them might end up in there. As much as you guide your children, there's a lot of unsavory people in this world. We see the end result. My niece is not here no more. She's dead. Shot in the back of the head for what? When she was led there. She went up there willingly, thinking this is all a game. We're just going on a hike. They saw that she has special needs, and they could easily manipulate her into trusting them. And they all knew they were going to kill my niece. It's just like the wolf needing the lamb to slaughter. I think she has no conscience. I think she's evil. And she murdered my niece without a blinking eye. And if she could have got away with it, she would have.
All
I felt my face contracting this way in a maniacal.
All right, yeah, we'll check that one out. But we're gonna do this. Brooklyn is burning.
Migrate to different countries. And welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of Sandman the Goose. Sardar Fasai was born on January 12, 1986, in Bulgaria. Although Sandman is from Eritrea, the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea forced his family to migrate to different countries in Africa, leading to his birth in Bulgaria. Due to war and government corruption, the Fasai family could not obtain Sandman's birth certificate, and shortly after his mother gave birth, the family was forced to move to Sudan. In 1993, at the age of 7, the Fasai family moved to the United States in hope of a better future for their family. The family settled in Los Angeles to begin their new life. Sandman was enrolled in school and began second grade at Hyde Park Elementary. He grew up in the heart of the Rolling 60s dime block clique, Hyde Park and 10th Avenue to be exact. In the late 1990s, a young Sandman was already making contributions to the 60s clique that ruled his block. In one incident, Sandman nearly got Drew Down killed. One day, Drew Down was randomly parked in a red car on 10th Ave in Hyde Park. This was a couple houses away from where Sandman lived. On that particular afternoon, Sandman was patrolling the block on his bike, acting as a lookout for enemies or cops. Just the night before, Rolling 60 had been gunned down, and there was a visual at the corner. As Sandman spots Drew in the red car, he busts a U-turn on his bike, pulls up, and says, "What up, cuz?" Drew then threw up the 5, which prompted Sandman to speed off on his bike to the liquor store to alert more 6-0 members. A few minutes later, 2 carloads of 6-0 members pull up on Drew and box him in. 2 choppers raised over the roof and were pointed at him, while 2 other 6-0 members jumped out and swarmed Drew at his car door. Drew didn't even have his car keys to attempt to get away. Drew got Drew down literally, and had to explain himself and plead his case while staring down a barrel of a Tech-9. After a few minutes of deliberation, Drew was given a pass after nearly begging for his life, but he was still stuck because he didn't have his car keys. After the 2 cars drove away, Drew ran up in a 3-story building on 10th Ave with fear in his eyes. A homegirl ran in, made sure the coast was clear, and helped him get out of there alive. In 1997, Sandman's eldest brother died from gangrene, and this tragedy took a heavy toll on young Sandman. His brother was always someone he looked up to and admired. From that day on, Sandman began rapping and writing. A piece of Sandman had died, and Sandman the Goose was born. At the start, he was influenced by rappers such as Tupac and Nas. Sandman spent a lot of his time tapping into his artistic abilities, making music, sketching, painting, and drawing. Sandman grew up in a disciplined home with a strict father that led Sandman to become rebellious. In his teen years, Sandman also worked at his family's gas station that was located on Florence and Crenshaw. In 2005, he was recruited by Yahoo and Pepsi as a West Coast representative in a segment called Mike Pass. During this time, Sandman was being managed by Big U. He was actually one of the first artists Big U started working with and had on his unique music entertainment label.
Sandman the Goose, coming at you. Got next. No, you got now. Watch it. Here we come.
This was before Big U started fully focusing on Nipsey. Sandman knew Nipsey from a young age as a result of Nipsey's father and Sandman's parents being close.
Sandman, what's up, girl? What y'all this shit? We just all like go off the neighbors, man. And we take credit cards up. Yeah, like get shit cracked in. That's what it is.
I know what it is, man. Me and Sandman, we bros on many levels. Cup from Turk, day one nigga. Cup from back home, same place I'm from. We got the same ethnicity.
Oh yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Nah, you know, we descend from East Africa. That's where our family come from, our folks come from. You know, we out here in America. My pops came out here when he was 19, so I was born and raised out here. But I'm a first generation out of my family, out of the men that's grown up out here. So, you know, we had a different type of struggle. Yeah, same one nigga. So, you know, we get it though, man. Ain't nothing stopping us. Ain't no brick wall on the speed bumps, my nigga. That's the motto.
We bounce over them.
Yeah, 100.
We don't want no distractions, no interferences out here.
At the age of 19, after years of living the street life, Sandman spent months in jail for an alleged robbery for which he was later found not guilty. At this point in his life, Sandman turned fully to the streets, and by the age of 20, he took a wrong turn in his life and ended up in jail again. After he got out, he slowly started to change his life around. But on August 2nd, 2008, after leaving the studio to take a friend home, he was followed by gang members. After they walked up, they muttered a few words and opened fire. Bullets shattered the windshield, and Sandman was struck 9 times. He was shot in his colon, liver, both lungs, left and right diaphragm, shoulders, and neck. He had to undergo 8 surgeries and was in a coma for 26 days. Miraculously, he was able to recover from the shooting and use music as his therapy. At the time of the shooting, the Centinela Park families and Roller 60s were going back and forth at an all-time high. Sandman continued to push his music in the studio day and night and shoot music videos every week. His work ethic was amazing. On September 27th, 2012, Sandman was fatally shot in the alley on the 4300 block of Crenshaw. The location is in very close proximity to Big U's unique studios. After his death, rumors began to fly in LA that BPS, Troubles, Schoolyard, or the Sixos did it. Many thought the circumstances surrounding his death were fishy. Court records showed that earlier that day, a few 4 Trade gangster Crips got into a skirmish with 40 members at the McDonald's on Crenshaw. One of those 4 Trade members being Oliver. After getting punched in the face, Oliver and a few gang members drove back to their hood park to regroup. About an hour later, the 4 Trade members returned near the McDonald's, in an alley, where Oliver allegedly fired a weapon over the roof of the vehicle, fatally striking Sandman. 6 days after Sandman was shot, Oliver sent a text saying, "Nah, Shanika just called me talking about I gotta leave LA, everybody know. She said she wanted to meet with me and talk, but I'ma tell just about the fight, not the shooting." A week after the shooting, Oliver changed his phone number. And 2 months after Sandman was killed, Oliver was detained. Oliver Goodrich was eventually found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to 50 years to life. The family of Sandman was not satisfied with the outcome and believed something deeper happened. Court records said there was no evidence that Sandman had anything to do with the fight at McDonald's, nor was he even present when Oliver got punched. The LA streets been talking, and it's widely believed that the Sixos allegedly had a hand in Sandman's murder. Many people also compare Sandman's story to Nipsey's, although it is believed at the time of Sandman's death, he and Nipsey were not on good terms. And it's been noticed how Nipsey or the 60s don't honor Sandman's memory with frequency. Sandman used his passion for music to elevate himself and his family. He believed in the grind and always represented for his home country.
That's what I'm about, man, teaching everybody out there some knowledge that they ain't seen about, because there's more out there that we don't know about, that we do need to know about, and it's being blocked, you know what I'm saying? In order for you to find out, you got to find out on your own and do some research, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, keep people that's on finding out the truth, not the false, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of false out there, false advertisement, you know. Do your own research, man. You know, look at the times we in right now, you feel me? Ain't nobody talking about what's going on, but you know what's going on. So, you know, do your research, man.
That's where you from?
Yeah, that's where I'm from, man. Originally from Eritrea.
I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Death Row's in the house.
Death Row can be bigger than Motown or Sony.
Warner Brothers.
Death Row is going to be the biggest record company there is.
The master plan was to take over the world.
All of the greatest artists came together at one.
Migrate to different countries in Africa, leading to
Haircut.
Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of OG Puddin. Sylvester Scott was born on November 13th, 1954, in Los Angeles, California, where him and his family resided on 115th Street between Compton Avenue and Wilmington, in very close proximity to the Nickerson Gardens, a current bounty hunter Watts gang stronghold. In 1972, the Scott family would relocate to Compton, where they lived in a single-story home on Piru Street, off Parmalee Avenue. In the early 1970s, the Crips evolved into the East Side Crips and the West Side Crips, and later the Compton Crips. The sets would arrange rumbles with foes. The fights were hand-to-hand at first, which Raymond Washington preferred, but intensified to include the use of bats, chains, and knives. Meanwhile, Crips continued to claim new neighborhoods in Compton. This was at a time Compton was over 90% black. Raymond Washington, Tookie Williams, and Michael Conception began victimizing students attending neighboring Centennial High School. Within a short period of time, they gained a significant following. But when Raymond, Tookie, and a small group of followers attacked Puddin and Vincent Owen, it set off a significant chain of events. Puddin and Vincent, who both lived on Piru Street, refused to be victimized and fought off the attack. At the end of the confrontation, someone could be heard saying, "Don't mess with nobody from Piru Street and take that Crip nigga with you." Puddin would create the Piru Street Boys and claim the turf around Compton's West Piru Street, which intersected at Central Avenue, just north of 136th Street. Puddin was described as a scrawny kid at the time, who enjoyed throwing the football around. The Pirus were originally associated with the Crips, but split off after a few internal battles. Because the Crips heavily outnumbered the Pirus, Puddin had to string together smaller black sets that bordered the areas near Willowbrook. They eventually became the Bloods and adopted the color red. Usually when a gang is vastly outnumbered, they have to be extra out with the violence. So at that time required the Pirus to up their firepower. And to be able to afford this artillery, they had to imitate the Crips by getting involved in the drug game. Puddin was a teen nobody wanted to mess with. He evolved into not only one of the biggest drug traffickers in Compton, but the head honcho of his most violent gang as well. Puddin wasn't known as a fighter. He would gain his notoriety on what he did when he had a gun in his hands. As the leader, he set the tone and created an atmosphere of intimidation. All the Pirus followed suit. Puddin single-handedly attacked every last Crip set in Compton. The real war in Compton kicked off in 1972. When Puddin and a few Pirus opened fire on the Crips, the quadruple shooting left one dead. Puddin had a massive target on his back as Compton's most wanted because all the Crips wanted him dead. But Puddin was very elusive. He would strategically keep switching vehicles after he carried out a series of attacks. Over time, his name began having a mystical aura attached to it, and people were beginning to think he was untouchable. Puddin would venture into the east side of Compton and shoot up the Red House on numerous occasions. The Red House was a notable home located on Pine Street that Tookie and the Crips would frequent. Puddin had a hit list and wanted all the top Crips to get it. He eventually got Tookie. One day on Almond Street, Puddin ambushed and shot at Tookie with a .45. Tookie dove for cover behind a house, but he wound up getting hit in the legs. He was bedridden for a while and had a hard time recovering. When Tam was killed by Crips in 1975, this set Puddin into a frenzy. Tam was like a brother to Puddin. Puddin would go on a rampage and wanted all the Crips to feel it. Crips were getting shot in the legs, ass, ankle, and feet. In one attack, the bullet grazed the Crip's head and sent his cap flying. He was hysterical after almost being killed by Puddin. During his terror spree, multiple Crip points would be hit on the same night. It got to a point whenever Puddin came around, Crips would run the other way.
And you had to be careful of that one person Puddin, man, because he had a green 69 Riviera. Whenever we seen a green 69 Riviera, we would run behind a building, whatever, because we didn't know if that was Puddin or not.
And Puddin would carry out these missions by himself. His precision was outstanding. He had a reputation for always hitting his target, even shooting from 30 yards away. Puddin would end up going to prison for a rape charge. When he got out of prison, he was no longer that scrawny kid. He got swole up and muscular. In the late 70s, the Black Panthers had moved into South Central from their base in Oakland and began recruiting among the gangs in the area. They had some success, and their next play was to move into Compton. At that time, the Compton Police Department viewed the Black Panthers as a threat, seeing as the Panthers had success uniting a few gangs in South Central. The idea of gangs in Compton merging into one super gang would have made it virtually impossible for Compton PD to maintain control of the city. Their force only had 130 cops at the time. To combat the threat, Compton PD would have had to resort to bringing the National Guard. So a few officers from Compton PD and Puddin made a deal that if the Pirus kept the Panthers out of Compton, they would back off Puddin in his drug trade operation. The deal worked, and the Panthers were never able to get a foothold in Compton. In 1987, Puddin would be arrested and later convicted of selling cocaine to an undercover police officer. He would serve his time in the Chino State Prison. In 1991, Puddin and more than a dozen other drug dealers testified against 6 LA narcotic officers accused of beating drug dealers, stealing money from some of them, and planting cocaine on others. According to federal prosecutors, the narcotics officers planted a plastic bag containing 118 grams of cocaine in Puddin's car and arrested him on drug charges. Puddin told the FBI and the grand jury that $16,000 that he kept in a paper bag was missing after deputies searched his mother's home, though he said he never reported the theft because the cash came from drug sales. When Puddin got out of prison, he got into a relationship with Joelle, also known as the First Lady of Death Row. Things were hot and heavy at first, but they eventually went through a rough patch that reached a boiling point when Joelle shot Puddin in the chest. Joelle would claim self-defense, saying that Puddin was physically abusing her and was jealous of her success with Death Row. But others seemed to think her statement was slightly fabricated, as Puddin was known to be a ladies' man, and he was constantly dealing with various women, which could have been a motive to initiate a domestic issue. Puddin was described as rocking a full afro, intelligent, and clean-cut features. He could have gone to a university, but instead he was among the most dangerous criminals, in arguably the most dangerous city in America at the time. In 2006, Puddin would die of health complications, stemming from his gunshot wound in the 90s. He was 51 years old. Puddin would set the blueprint and made the Pirus what it is today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing the life of Clemen Johnson. Clemen Johnson, also known as Big Evil, was born on October 15th, 1967, in Los Angeles, California. He grew up with two
Many shots to the center of a freak nigga. 3 in his ass, lick his stomach, smell his pink nigga. They throwing shots, time to see if them pussy niggas can take it. The nigga whack is a snitch and the jolly niggas are rapists. See, Lush was on to something, tried to act like it was nothing. Said you ain't know that freaky ass taker you was frontin'. Munchie ain't fucking with you and Spider-Loc ain't gon' save you. If you want it, you gon' take it. Stop them freaky ass behaviors. Let's get straight to the point, see we ain't gotta wait for later. Nigga with your last name kidnapped that girl before he raped her. Said the moms of gang members don't deserve no piece of prayers. When General Butt naked, the kid touch her is your savior. You ain't gotta stall me out, cause I ain't asking for no favors. Get it cracking right now, we ain't gotta wait for later. Walked into your own building, heard my voice, and then you ducked away. Was humble like a bitch, cause you a hoe, stay in your fucking place. That nigga whack is slut, pathetic Flacco's a fucking lame. Whack ain't come outside because he hiding from his fucking gang. Talking like you tough when niggas spitting in your fucking face. T-Row didn't quit, we wouldn't even know your fucking name. Whack in front of Adam, but Adam is how he do you. See, Flacco lied on me and then Whack told me to sue you. Treated Whack like a bitch, you should have seen it, it was beautiful. Now every single week that nigga Jala on my puke. Is it Fred or is it Frederick? Is it Dave or is it David? All thighs on me. Flock of belly, now you famous. Type of creep nigga is you. How are you and Dave related? Nigga, no means no. You should have told him not to take it. I'm really in the field, you niggas stuck inside the matrix. From BET to the Knicks, down in Compton where your face is. That nigga weird Jala got some freaky ass cases. Trying to fake fight Lush cause Adam wanted you to face. You wanna be like academics, making videos like pointing shit you. You and they the same ass lane. We know the fucking truth. Brick ain't say this shit is a play, cause he don't fuck with you. He not gonna get involved when them real shooters come for you. If you grew up in the land, them thirsties, they would've humbled you. Grew up with them lions, I promise they would've hunted you. I get disrespectful the next time I'ma punish you. You dirty fat bitch, I swear to God, I see the bum in you. Niggas say they shooters till it's time to bring them guns out. Loose can't read and whack lost his wife the clubhouse. She whack like a bitch, mark him out before we snitch again. Block him when I see you, I'ma show you the type of bitch you is. Niggas say they see me, they pulling blick out. I promise that this clock can make you sit down. Drum with a cooler, one for you, one for your brother. Wrap the string around the mop, sound like your dumbass when you stutter. Swear to God, nigga.
Hear me out though, right? Wait, bro, wait. Again, wait though. Just right though, right? Wait though, right? I do want to. Wait though.
Yo, we're Trappers tapping in 10 and Trappers Network. We back in the same, like a crack in the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more. That's good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Yes, that's TNN Trap News Network. Good news you can use. Good knowledge, though. You can't get nobody's college, though, big dog. The knowledging 10, you can't get in nobody's college 10, big dog. Tap in with the tap in to make sure you tapped in with that tap in to make sure you tapped in with the tap in to make sure you tapped in with the tap in. You feel me? Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. For more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that news you can use, that knowledge, though, you can't get in nobody's college, though, big dog. Sweetie! We finna go into a little Buka himself. Loose Cannon, aka Turtle, aka he who turns the lights off and whoops his wife's feet, aka he who don't take care of his kids, aka he who has a hard time reading out loud. Loose Cannon Turtle has a lot to say about Big U. We finna jump into this content without no further do's or don'ts. Rich Trap House in the building. Make sure you get into that. RichTrapHouse.com. Get into the merch. Words are hard. Pathetic Flocko Rat 100 is Broke Baby Mama out now on all streaming platforms. Let's get into the sweetie of Loose Cannon. Let's go.
Good morning.
Listen,
we got some exclusive content from the homies from the hood, right?
You are not from 60s, bro. Stop saying you got homies from the hood. You don't got no homies. You don't got no hood. You are a lone ranger in this YouTube world, in this YouTube space. Nigga, we are non-affiliates. Means that we are not affiliated with gang members. We are not gang members, Loose Cannon. You are not from anybody's hood. These are no homies. You have no homies. You can't name one nigga from 6-0 that fuck with you, bro. You can't do it because he don't exist. You and Snitch Honey be having the same anonymous source. Come on, bro. Chill out. You're already starting off bad. You feel me?
You have a discrepancy on how certain things went about. You're going to hear me talking, 600 talking, and then my homie.
Oh, y'all remind me too, chat. That weirdo 11. I'm in the middle of fight training, and that weirdo 1111 decided to call me about a bullshit fake offer from 600 as far as boxing. So chat, remind me to tell y'all why we finna smack the SHIT out of Snoopy BA and how he was running like a track star, and this new Flu Flammery with Snitch Honey. Y'all remind me, chat, but let's keep going.
Still talking, right? We discussing this one problem when it comes down to big uterus, big useless, muffin top. So, parfait yogurt, soft. It's like, we discussing, and you have to understand this, right?
Hey! Loose Cannon watches my videos. Remember in the last video, he was like, he's like that yogurt thing. And I said, idiot, it's called a parfait. Look, he got it right this time. That's right. Look at you, Turtle, paying attention. I'm glad I could be a good father and teach you things. Look at my son. Clap it up for my son. Y'all clap it up for my son. Look at my slower son. Milk is my oldest child. That's my second oldest. Look at my kids, y'all. I made him a better man. Shout out to the UK. I made you a better man, son. Now we got to just teach you how to raise my grandkids, and then we're going to go from there. Because you don't be taking care of your kids.
It's like, we discussing, and you have to understand this, right? When I drop phone calls, we all know we recorded. We all know that. So stop saying things because y'all.
That's not true.
That's not true. You drop phone calls all the time and don't nobody know you recording. Only you know you recording. Don't nobody know you recording, bro. That's a lie. That's full flu flammery. That's skullduggery. That's larceny. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Who jumps on the phone with anybody and automatically assumes they're being recorded? Nobody. You're a cop.
Hear other people saying something. They all know. We ask before we start doing this, right?
Amazon early holiday deals are here.
Shout out to Amazon.
And if the conversation go their way, the conversation go my way, the conversation go whoever's way, it will just be put out. At the end of the day, it's like Big Useless brought it to the internet, which I be thinking that he didn't. But Sweetheart really brought it to the internet. He the one to start mentioning people first and start saying all types of other things first. And then it sends me to...
Where does it send you, Loose Cannon?
Exposing everything.
You know where it doesn't send you? To a second grade English class. That's where it doesn't send you. It doesn't send you to a library. It doesn't send you to a book. It don't even send you to Google. It sends you absolutely nowhere. This nigga's dumb.
We don't want to get it misconstrued on how things really go. They be like, why you don't pull up? I do pull up.
No, you don't.
Why they say this? Why they say that? You know, certain people is always gonna be jealous because you're moving up higher and higher and higher. People don't like that. It's the same thing.
Hey, you know what?
What happened?
They say that in the chat. They say this is a hate code.
Sweet.
Well, you know what? If it is, I hate the way that he walks, the way that he talks. I hate the way that he dressed. I hate the way that he sneak this. If he catch flights, it won't be direct. I hate the way that he can't think before he speak. But maybe that's me, I guess. I hate the way that this dummy think. He ain't even got to be deep, I guess.
With Nipsey, you know what I'm saying? So everybody be talking about, you should do this, you should do that. How? Y'all not even understanding that certain individuals that y'all be thinking that's the boogeyman is scared.
He got to be talking about whack.
They know.
He got to be talking about whack. He got to be talking about whack. He got to be talking about Officer Rat Run Hunter. People that y'all think is a boogeyman out there in YouTube world is really a cream puff. He's a kerfuffle. Confusion. That man is a walking kerfuffle. A confusing situation, for sure. For sure. And a confusing or an uncomfortable or a situation you just don't really want to be a part of because it's negative. That nigga's a walking kerfuffle, for sure.
Slick talking,
whack.
Certain things they say, it's not going to fly with me. They know at the end of the day, it's like I address every single thing. They absolutely know I will come and see them.
No, you won't.
So when you be like, oh, he's not this, he's not. No, I am every bit of that.
That's what Montana.
Call Loose Coochie on speakerphone. Call Loose Coochie on. Hold on, y'all.
Young but looking old, stressed out. That don't make them tough. Just because they got tattoos on their face and stuff like that, they just make bad decisions. I got homies and stuff with tattoos all on their face.
All right, let me call Loose Coochie.
Please leave your
message. They blocked me. They blocked me. They don't want to talk to me no more. It's all right.
Please leave your message for.
They be mean-mugging up.
My son is upset with me, y'all. Y'all pray for our family. Y'all pray for our family. Where is this money, these CP, and you just keep speaking on God?
Like, no, stop it. Not like that. But certain people do it and think they buffing. Okay, that's cool.
Nobody wants to talk to me anymore. Wag them blocked me. Snitch Honey them blocked me. Loose Coochie Lips, Loose Cannon them blocked me. Flockiana them blocked me. They don't like me, y'all. The exposures don't like me. Maybe I'm not invited to nobody's birthday party anymore. I guess that's easier than taking a fade. All 4 of these niggas ducked the fade and all 4 of them blocked me afterwards. That's crazy. That's Barnacles. But we're going to get to 11-11, bitch ass. Don't worry about it. We're going to talk all about it.
But you can't put muscle on chin. So this is what goes on in the streets. And people be thinking like certain individuals is tough, but they not like that. Sweetheart, you really not like that. It's things that...
It's almost like he's looking in a mirror. It's almost like he's looking in a mirror. Damn near like he's talking to himself.
Y'all have to get prepared and really know about the people in this world. 95% of gangbangers can't fight.
Big shout out to all the scary ass, no fake catching bitch ass YouTubers in my comments of fake pages. We appreciate the algorithm boost. We love you guys. We love you guys. The only thing that I'm begging for is you make sure you take your nose out of my belly button when my meat is all the way down your throat. Take your nose out of my belly button. It's uncomfortable. And please, I'm begging you, get off my dick. Thank you. Thank you. The craziest part about these YouTubers is a chat right there, y'all. So y'all can't see it, but the chat is chatting. The craziest thing about your favorite YouTuber, that nigga makes a fake email, then a fake YouTube account, and it searches my name up, all that to leave a comment from a troll page because he's too afraid to deal with me in real life because niggas know what time it is. Shout out to pussy ass rock star who runs like a track star.
They can't. That's why you hear 1 or 2 in the hood and stuff, and they knocking things out and stuff like that because they practice, they see things, they study it, and they know how to fight. But then you have the rest of them is busters. They don't know how to fight. So if you stop them, they running, stop them so hard in the chest, their shoulders clap. This is just the gangbang world. That's why they pick up guns. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
I like that song.
Opportunity, me, I just do both. So at the end of the day, it's like if I feel a certain type of way, you know, even if you thinking that we cool and we listening, if I see, I'm never cool. I never forget nothing one time. You get what I'm saying?
You never what?
Once you saying that we
what was that word?
Cool and we listening. If I see, I'm never cool. I never forget nothing one time. You get what I'm saying?
You never figured? Max Payton, that's your uncle who don't know how to say forget. The nigga who never figures. You related to that nigga? That's your uncle. That's your Uncle Luz. I respect it. That's Luz nephew in the channel. He said my Uncle Luz. I respect it. But don't forget that he don't know how to say forget. So.
And I mean, once you say something about me, you gotta stand on it for the rest of your life until I feel like that we even. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sweetie!
You can't tell me that this nigga is not special education, bro. The way he has these outbursts. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that this nigga is not special education the way he has these dramatic fucking outbursts, bro. Like, he doesn't know time. He doesn't know place. He doesn't know appropriateness. He can't read room. He doesn't have general etiquette of human beings or any of this type of things. Like, these are all the symptoms of retardation. Like, I'm not even being funny here. Like, I'm not joking. Like, this is all seriousness. The way he conducts himself and goes into these random ass emotional fits, bro, that's a sign of like a problem. We're at work. We all work at, I don't know, in an office, at a call center. And one of your coworkers just goes, Sweetie! What's wrong with this nigga? We in Target trying to get some little soap or some deodorant, whatever you get from Target, and you see a grown man, and he at the checkout, and he just on his phone, Sweetie! The fuck is up with this nigga? What's wrong with this nigga? You in the line to get you some Bankhead seafood. Shout out to Bankhead seafood. Shout out to T.I. Killer Mike or whatever your local fish spot is. And the nigga at the cashier gets upset. Sweetie, what the fuck is up with this nigga? I ain't finna eat here. This crazy motherfucker cooking my fish. Nigga, what the hell? You would be genuinely concerned about this person. Why are we not getting him help? Why are we not like, bro, like all jokes aside, why are we not trying to help this man? We are watching somebody who has a clear mental deficiency. Why are we not going here?
You about to hear the content. You about to hear that under Big U, his homie talking about pulling up, wanting to fight 600 and all the other stuff like that. But mind you, 600 called out Big U 8-9 months ago.
That's not true either. Big U was around. 600 said that he had a fight in Africa. Africa. That nigga went back to the motherland. That is a full-blown lie. I pressed 600. He turned into a gamer. Spider-Lo pressed 600. Big U was physically there. Them niggas was quiet for days. For days. Loose Cannon is just blatantly lying. This nigga, like, who's the Geppetto pulling the strings on this Pinocchio? Loose Cannon, I know you're slow. Geppetto is a master craftsman and the puppeteer who created Pinocchio, and he's the one who holds the strings. Why you don't know who Geppetto is? Don't worry about it. Names are hard. But what's up with this guy?
Now Big U talking about he wanted to be in the ring and all that other stuff like that. He wanted to set it up for pay-per-view.
Look,
One
man.
of the reason why is that is
Go to Rich Trap House right now. Get you a Words Are Hard hat. Words are hard. Words are hard. Shout out to Turtle. Shout out to Loose Cannon. Shout out to Pathetic Flacco, because we know for them, words are hard. So I want all y'all to stop what y'all doing right now. Go to richtraphouse.com and order you one of these Words Are Hard hats. Words Are Hard hats. Get into that if you ain't got into that. You feel me? That's what I need y'all to do. Right here. Because words are hard. Words are kicking this nigga's a double-double.
you broke now.
Yes, you are.
This is what happens when you start messing with
Wait,
credible people.
hold
that
on,
was helping
hold
you.
on.
Why is that?
Hold on.
Now Big U talking about he wanted to be in the ring and all that other.
Are you saying that Big U has to be broke because he wants to now get in the ring? Interesting. 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 Let's call this loser bank. Let's use your logic. Let's use your logic. Let's use your logic. Because I've been getting missed calls from this guy all day.
Hello there, sir.
What's cracking?
What's going on with you, man?
What bullshit does 1111 have for me today?
No bullshit. You know, whatever you've done, 600 said that he'll fight you for free. He doesn't think you're gonna show up. You got too many ops. You got too many niggas against you. He doesn't think you would show up.
So now 600 wants. So now a year later, 600 wants to take the boxing match that he's been ducking all year. From no, hold on, don't tap that. That's not what I asked you. Didn't ask you all that. I said, so now 600 is trying to take the fight that he's been ducking all year.
He's in Italy. He's back.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Stop lying. That's not true. That Nick, that's my cousin, nigga. Stop. All bullshit aside, that's my cousin. This nigga's not in Italy. That's my cousin, nigga.
It looks like he's somewhere else.
That is my cousin, Nick.
Hey, listen.
So that nigga's not in Italy. Don't.
How would I know this? Look, when he tells me he doesn't know who you are, nigga. Okay, all right.
He doesn't know who I am, but he doesn't know who I am. But my baby mama's his first cousin. I went to his mama's funeral. Swear to God.
Mr. Trapper. I call you Trapper.
All I know is this: your man Loose Cannon said that Big U want to fight him because he don't got no money. Is that why 600 is doing this? Because he don't got no money all of a sudden, based off Loose Cannon logic?
I have no idea there.
Oh.
He just said,
Call that nigga.
oh man.
Yeah, call that nigga. Cause my big cousin blocked my number. He don't want to see me at Thanksgiving. Call that nigga. Tap him in. Let's go viral. Everybody put their seatbelts on. We going viral. First class. If you need some refreshments, hit the button at the top. One of the flight attendants will be there to help you. I promise.
Now, I don't want you to put me in the middle of this.
Man, I didn't ask you all that. Go ahead and call that nigga. Call that nigga.
Hey, hang on one second. Hang on.
Call that nigga. Do. That can only mean one thing. Do. I know when that hotline bling. Do. That can only mean one thing. But see, this is what it happens. This nigga Nick, old whole ass, gonna call him and say, yeah, you know, I got Rich Trap on the phone and blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Words are hard merch on now. Get into that if you ain't got into that. Do. That can only mean one thing. Do. Ever since I left the city, I turned your big ass into a gamer. You was running from all these faders. You ain't tripping, we gonna see you later. You not gonna show up, you got too many homies, too many enemies. You gonna be deep in that bitch. Good luck. Good luck. Because you better believe them guys will be there. You better believe those guys will be there. So in real life, we holding so long because them niggas is on the phone having side conversations. Them niggas is on the phone having side conversations. That's what's going on right now. That nigga answered, and now they having a little bullshit conversation and all that kind of stuff. These niggas be thinking they so slick, bro. These niggas be thinking they so fucking slick. I'm gonna give this nigga one more minute. We ain't finna sit on hold. I don't hold for no bitch. That shit bothers me. I ain't gonna lie. I don't hold for no bitch. So I'm gonna give it one more minute and then he'll call back. But right now they having their little bullshit conversation back and forth. You feel me? 11-11, old weird ass. The shadiest promoter in LA. The shadiest promoter in LA. The shadiest promoter in LA. Swear to God. Swear to God. 30 seconds. Nigga been on hold for 2 minutes. Whole time he been hung up. Man, nah, he didn't hang up. Them niggas is on the phone talking right now. And 600 don't know what to do. You trying to use this nigga Nick as a fucking voice box. Nick, take that nigga dick out your motherfucking mouth, nigga, and speak. Let that man speak for himself. Let that nigga put his hand up your ass and puppet you, nigga. What's up with bro? All right, they'll call back. Let's go back to Turtle.
Stuff like that, he wanted to set it up for pay-per-view. No, the reason.
Cause Chad, if it was just us, I wouldn't trip. But it's a video right here, and I want to respect that time. I apologize to that, y'all. Boom, there we go. Hello.
Hello.
What's happening?
Hello.
What's happening?
Yeah, you guys are not responding, man.
You said what?
I said he has not responded.
He wasn't responding. That was a long time to have me on hold for a nigga that didn't respond. That don't even make sense. The amount of time you had me on hold, that nigga with a voicemail would have picked up by then. That's not true. You lying, Nick. You think I'm stupid?
All right, man.
Why y'all be thinking I'm dumb? Like I done read 100 books to get a free pan pizza.
I sent you.
The amount of time, hold on. The amount of time that you had me on hold, if somebody's voicemail would have came on, it would have been half that time.
That's not. I didn't say I called him. I said he wasn't responding.
Oh, I said call that nigga though. I said call that nigga though. I said call that nigga though. But I said call that nigga though. So what? Never heard of him. I said call that nigga.
All right. Well, listen.
Dead anchors. Nah. So what? Never heard of him. Call that nigga though. So what? Never heard of him. Call that nigga though. Dead anchors. Call that nigga though.
Let me see if he'll answer.
So what? Never heard of him. So what?
Let me see. Hang on. You know this nigga.
So yeah, I know that nigga. He my cousin. I know that nigga. He my cousin. I know him very well. So what though? Call that nigga. Dead anchors. Come on now. This nigga put me on hold and said I never called him. Nigga, what the fuck you put me on hold? See how these niggas are lie? You see how these niggas are lie? Let me find out this nigga just put me on mute.
Yeah, he's not answering.
Nigga, you gonna put me on mute and then not call? Come on, bro. What kind of stupid ass shit is that?
Man, listen, I'll send you the motherfuckers. What you want me to send you the screenshot?
Y'all didn't already prove to lie about that. You niggas lie about everything. Bosco still ain't got his 150.
There we go. This is what the promoter told me, man. Like,
fuck your promoter. He a bitch too. I don't care about that nigga. He a bitch. Fuck that nigga. Dead anchors. Fuck all you niggas. I don't care.
Don't.
Yep. What? He want to get down? He want a contract? Tell that nigga to sit a fight. I'll whoop his shit too.
How you feeling, man? How you feeling today?
I'm terrible. I'm having a bad day, and everybody finna have it with me. That's how I'm feeling. I'm always having a bad day when you niggas are involved, and I'm gonna make sure everybody feel it with me. We gonna all have a bad day together. everybody gonna have a bad day. Y'all day just gonna be a little bit worse than mine. So don't trip. I got it. It's enough bad day for everybody. I promise. I'm gonna give enough to everybody. Don't trip.
I told many people, you behave in a way that you have nothing to lose. So I told you.
I don't got shit to lose. I don't got shit to lose. Guess what? Nigga shot me in the head and I didn't die. Huh. Joke's on you. Joke's on you. I've been hit in the face with a pipe. I'm still here. I've been shot in the head. I'm still here. I've been stabbed in the spine. I'm still here. Avenue Angel got 75 and didn't snitch so the homies could be on the streets. We still here. I don't got shit to lose. I don't give a fuck about you niggas. I think all you niggas are low-key gay. And I think you niggas are bitches. And I think that don't nobody really want a problem. And I think you niggas are running out of chili. And now you niggas need my attention. And it's cool because I'm finna give you every fucking ounce of it. You niggas think it's about a fight. I just gotta be in a position to get my hands on this nigga. That's the difference. You niggas give a fuck about a fight. Oh, we're gonna set up a fight. I just gotta be in a position to get my hands on this nigga.
Man, listen.
Just don't trip. Don't trip. Send me the information. We'll be there. And it's enough phase for everybody. We'll be in that bitch. Everybody gonna get that issue.
With 3 people.
Hear me and hear me well. Everybody gonna get that issue. It's enough squabbles for everybody. Don't trip.
Event in June of next year.
Nigga, that's BET weekend. Reschedule that shit. You niggas ain't no fucking celebrities. You niggas ain't cracking like that. You niggas is real F-list. I got some A-list shit to do. Change the weekend. That's BET weekend. Why the fuck would I do that BET weekend?
What about the week before that?
I don't give a fuck what you niggas do, but what I do know is BET weekend is not the moment I'm gonna be on them fucking circle jerk with you 3 niggas putting each other's hands up each other's asses being puppeteers.
What about the weekend before that?
That's between you and your scheduler. That don't got nothing to do with me.
First of all, this is not between me and anything. Actually.
Nah, you involved. Stop trying to not be involved. You involved. You're involved. Stay involved.
Listen.
Well, I'm involving you. I don't give a fuck. I'm involving you. I'm involving you. You're involved.
I just help people out.
Oh, well, you're involved. So stay involved. And when I motherfucking get this fight, I'm gonna make sure I bring Trap LA too, so you can get a homie his money.
Who is that?
Nigga, you know who that is. Don't disrespect the homie. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't, nigga. Don't do that. Nah, don't just say nothing. Don't be funny. Because if you funny, I'm hilarious. I'm gonna bring the homie and you gonna get that nigga his chili. That's what you gonna do. Okay, you funny. Bet.
No, I don't know. I
You funny. It's cool. Let me know. When that nigga 600 takes his hand out of your ass and is done using you as a puppeteer and a mouthpiece, let me know so I can press on this nigga.
I don't know.
When that nigga takes his hand out of your rectum, let me know and he'll stop using you as a mouthpiece and we'll go from there. Put that nigga on the phone.
All he did was
put that nigga on the phone. Nah, you don't know who the homie is. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna give you no more rooms to be disrespectful. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You disrespecting the homie? You don't know who he is? Bet. Say less, my nigga. Nah, that's cool. Nah, don't. You don't got a mop. You can't clean this up.
You said Trap LA?
Yeah, it's cool though. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah,
Nah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You good. You good. You good. Yeah, all that. When that nigga's a bitch, when that nigga's done being a bitch and you done being his bitch, y'all let me know and y'all call me on 3-way. I got some contents around. That nigga's done. Anyway, we finna jump back into this. These niggas are fucking retarded. And for those of y'all who don't know, that's the bullshitting ass promoter, 1111, the shadiest, most jankiest, flu-flamming promoter in South Central that put that bullshit ass 600 fight together. That's that nigga.
You broke now. This is what happens when you start messing with credible people that was helping you get it in a certain position. It went bad for you, so now you want to fight.
Isn't it interesting that he has all this to say about Big U and we just had that conversation?
Yeah, they didn't even have my ballet.
Tom, when I be in a
They didn't have my ballet.
I don't really understand.
Little help with doing the video when I said, okay, again, I'll pay you on Apple Pay.
You know what I'm saying?
1111 know when I see him,
then,
I'm
so
slapping
he
the shit
just
out
brought
of him.
me a
We
little
don't gotta get in the ring. That nigga know I'm putting hands on him. He knows it to be a fact.
I paid $18.99 for that
Certain
shit.
homies don't want to be on the internet.
I told him give me the Jameson
So when I do things,
and a little small dinner. He's like, oh, you know, that too much, and they said they only can give you 2 shots. Okay, fuck it, I only took 2 shots of Jameson on this little bottle of
need
Jack.
to be on the internet because they marshmallows.
Huh?
Like you.
I'm not fighting. I don't know, like it's cool. I'm just saying, like why would I pay $18.99 for look?
Be popping it.
Look how small this bottle is.
Telling people that make
Come on,
videos
man.
about people.
And then it's not like they gave me a big ass scene in their gym.
Destroyed all his minions. Every
They
single
fuck me. That's a hit.
are gone.
I have on good authority. This nigga can't spell minion. Good authority. Good authority.
No good.
Oh.
Because the truth always prevails. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, they try to beat us with lies. We beat them with the truth.
You guys paid for fake paperwork, $2,000 to be exact, and you had paperwork from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and you still spelled Bureau wrong when there's an amazing thing on all of our phones called spell
They just said they spelled Bureau wrong.
Your phone almost never even has to like misspell anything because it automatically corrects you. Like, how the fuck? Merch out now.
This is facts. They not like that. Sugar plum, big useless, big uterus.
Here we go. Please don't say sweetie.
You is not like that. You gotta stop and focus on like what you want to be. You want to be law enforcement, which you already are. 60 Crip, which you are. I can't take certain things away from you, but what I can take away is like you play both sides of the fence. You tell me certain things, and then you do another thing.
When he's thinking, he hears the internet dial-up sound. Face ass nigga, get out of here. Who picked up the phone? Face ass nigga. God, him.
You act like if you getting paid by somebody and I go at them, you can stop me. That was never the case. We seen how that played out and worked out. It don't work like that with me. I say and I feel and I do anything that I want to do. And if I feel like
all that without a single thought, for sure.
It's not right or it's against my morals or going against integrity, I'm not going to do it.
Damn, another case for the wrong reasons with life is the same.
I can't even say his funny little wife because the news she sent me was cracking.
People live in poverty but still have no heart.
Man. So I said thank you.
From a bum to a cell to a page, I was back and still never folded.
That's almost a year and a half old. Your
Most
wife
of you are bitches on me.
Boy.
Come match
that. For
that.
that though. It's kind of like both our wives. We just gonna let that
Can't be shit without heart.
She a little slutty yuddy though. She a little slutty yuddy though. I appreciate the news. That shit was cracking. Wow, bust that thing open. Krista Mills, Chrissy Mills, whatever the fuck that bitch's name was. She wasn't worth storing in my phone, but the news are real. Yeah, you know they real. You know they real. That's the thing.
It just don't work out. I'm really like that. And I don't care what anybody says. It ain't no yes man or what you could do for me. I make more money than you. Than a lot of people I do business with, but it's a lot of successful people around me. You have to understand this. You hang around 4 millionaires, you become the 5th. You hang around 9 broke, you're going to become the 10th. That's just how the
numbers got hard for that nigga, didn't they? The numbers started whooping that nigga's feet, didn't they? 9, 10. 10 comes after 9. 10, 10, 10.
There's a lot of successful people around me. You have to understand this. You hang around 4 millionaires, you become the 5th. You hang around 9 broke, you're going to become the 10th. That's just how the game goes. Don't get mad at me. You got people that come to you drinking and smoking and putting things in the air and thinking like, that's cool. That's a real, you know, but it's not. So, sweetie!
Oh, God.
Yo, these were sold out everywhere. But then my eBaylers went off. Got them. Felt lucky, so I looked up some more heat. Now those are on the way from Indiana.
That was the radio station I was before.
Getting this education,
First of all, Kevin Williams, I smoke fire, so all I need is a 1.2 on my blunt, and my thumb is broke. See my broken thumb? You try rolling a blunt without your right thumb. It's hard. Thumbs are hard.
Masters put me at a level that, of course, more respect from the community, but also to look at myself with that level of respect and to say, I deserve to be in the room. Start your comeback today at PurdueGlobal.edu.
Let's get to the content.
All right, y'all, we up out here to the next one, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network, man. We're going to stop it right there. If you want to hear Snitch Honey get absolutely embarrassed and humiliated by the Rolling 60s, make sure you drop a comment, make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a subscribe, and go watch the next video. Loose Cannon sets up, I hit the button, my bad. Ooh, I gotta stop hitting this thing. Loose Cannon sets up 600 to get embarrassed and humiliated by the Rolling 60s. And you'll hear 600 running from a fade after Loose Cannon double crosses him and stabs him in the back. Red dots to the left, y'all know the rest. And it's free Avenue Angel till he's free. We go.
Go with you always to talk. Listen, bro.
How many shots to the center of a freak, nigga? 3 in his ass, lick his stomach, smell his pink, nigga. They throwing shots, time to see if them pussy niggas can take it. The nigga whack is a snitch and the jolly niggas are rapists. See, Lush was on to something, tried to act like it was nothing. Said you ain't know that freaky ass taker you was frontin'. Munchie ain't fucking with you, and Spider Loc ain't gon' save you. If you want it, you gon' take it. Stop them freaky ass behaviors. Let's get straight to the point. See, we ain't gotta wait for later. Nigga with your last name kidnapped that girl before he raped her. Said the moms of gang members don't deserve no piece of prayers. When General Butt naked, the kid Tesher is your savior. You ain't gotta stall me out, cause I ain't asking for no favors. Get it cracking right now, we ain't gotta wait for later. Walked into your own building, heard my voice, and then you ducked away. Was humble like a bitch, cause you a hoe, stay in your fucking place. That nigga whack is slut and pathetic. Flacco's a fucking lame. Whack ain't come outside because he hiding from his fucking gang. Talking like you tough when niggas spitting in your fucking face. T-Ro didn't quit, we wouldn't even know your fucking name. Whack in front of Adam, but Adam is how he do you. See, Flacco lied on me and then Whack told me to sue you. Treated Whack like a bitch, you should have seen it, it was beautiful. Now every single week that nigga Jala on my puke. Is it Fred or is it Frederick? Is it Dave or is it David? All thighs on me. Flock of belly, now you famous. Type of creep nigga is you. How are you and Dave related? Nigga, no means no. You should have told him not to take it. I'm really in the field, you niggas stuck inside the matrix. From BET to the Knicks, down in Compton where your face is. That nigga Weird Jala got some freaky ass cases. Trying to fake fight Lush cause Adam wanted you to face. You wanna be like academics, making videos like point and shoot. You and Dave the same ass lane. We know the fucking truth. Brick ain't say this shit is a play, cause he don't fuck with you. He not gonna get involved when them real shooters comfy. If you grew up in the land, them thirsties, they would've humbled you. Grew up with them lions, I promise they would've hunted you. I get disrespectful, the next time I'ma punish you. You dirty fat bitch, I swear to God, I see the bum in you. Niggas say they shooters till it's time to bring them guns out. Loose can't read and Whack lost his wife to Clubhouse. She Whack like a bitch, mark him out before he snitch again. Blocko, when I see you, I'ma show you the type of bitch you is. Niggas say they see me, they pullin' blick out. I promise that this clock can make you sit down. Drum with a cooler, one for you, one for your brother. Wrap the string around the mop, sound like your dumbass when you stutter. Swear to God, nigga.
Wait, bro, wait. Again, wait though. Just right though, bro. Wait though, right? I do want to. Wait though.
Video, we're sharp at TNN Trap News Network. We back in the same, like cracking the same, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content. We got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that good news you can use. It's that good knowledge, though. You can't get nobody's college, though. Big dog, tap in with the tap in, and make sure you tapping in with that good tap in to make sure you are tapping in with Trap News Network. You feel me? You feel me? You guys, let's keep it down. Love you guys. My kids. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe for more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that good news you can use. That good knowledge, though. You can't get nobody's college, though. Big dog. Like, comment, subscribe. Rich Trap House. Get into that, man. The merch is out now. Make sure y'all tap in with Rich Trap House. Y'all see me, man. It's early in the morning. It's 7 in the morning, and I'm up giving news you can use to you. RichTrapHouse.com. Make sure y'all get into that. You ain't got into that. Bro, baby mama out now. Words are Pathetic. Flacco, Rat 100. This is out now. Get into that. Get into that. We finna jump straight into this content, man. We got He Who Talks Slow himself, aka Mr. Turtle. Mr. Turtle. Phone call exposes Big U set up my OG homies from the hood. Full details on how they got backdoored. Let's never forget the fact that Loose Cannon's father is the most infamous snitch ever in LA. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Keep exposing you. This is what you get. You sent them in a house. He told me it's $1 million, but all it was police. Your people all in there getting ready to arrest them. You took them down. Now we're exposing you, Sugar Plum. It's not over. This is the beginning. And I'm tired.
Isn't it crazy that these guys have been like on this Big U tirade for like 3 or 4 years now? So,
why are you not in Japan?
ITH, what's the deal?
You can't go to the UK? You cannot go to an Asian continent? Go to North Korea?
An Asian continent? An Asia continent? Asian continent? Asian? So disrespectful. That's actually not a true statement. So maybe you should go ahead and just retry that statement before you sound stupid again and more people hear you. Be careful with that.
Sweetie! You still in America. I told you this. And I ain't gonna stop. If you want me to book you a ticket, just let me know. We can rent a boat. Leave you out in the middle of the ocean. Nobody is gonna repo it. This is over with. And now people, y'all about to hear the content of my homies talking about him.
Rudy. Yep. Yeah, so I didn't know about the thing with you. Yeah, remember I told you I had seen you when you first was on there with WAC 100? Yeah. I'm talking about the more rocket. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember with $1 million in there in the house in the post tank. Yeah, I was in the feds. I'd be talking to it was
So we're here supposed to believe another conversation from people who we can't see and people who we can't determine who they are because they won't say their names because Loose Cannon has such this. Right. Okay.
After the feds, Morrock used to talk about you trying to hit a lady. I'm like, on the fed phone? Yeah. Next time he didn't talk to Morrock no more. Yeah, but you sent him in there, right? Yep. Him and Ed. Remember Ed? You know Ed? Yeah. I know Ed. Little black kid? Yep. They took in there. So remember, $1 million in there, and the police came. Got the it was about 4 of them. Yeah, but all them working the little thing with them working. You had working them working. They were the sweatshop. Yeah. You talking about on 59, right? Yeah. Are you talking all who was working in there went to jail. Crazy. And he was holding more rock money. Well, for the development outfit shit? Yeah. Yeah, but you know the reason why he was holding it is because it felt like he in jail. He don't need it. Yeah. He knew he was going to jail because he had the money before. Yeah. Now, don't you the scandal?
So unintentionally, Loose Cannon just told on himself for being a liar. So he was saying that the developing option things was a police situation and all those dudes in developing options were cops and all this kind of stuff, this and all that. Bodega Bar, what's the deal? You saying that all these dudes in developing options were cops, all these dudes in developing options were the police and all this kind of stuff. Yet somehow you're now saying that one of these dudes got their situation to where they're being locked up because of Big U. But you just said earlier that everybody in developing options was a cop. But you're saying that Big U told on somebody who was in developing options. So the dude who got told on, he's not a cop, but everybody else is? That doesn't make sense.
He don't want to see nothing. Now he's not enjoying his bread. I know that. Yeah, but look at how many homies he set up and put in jail. He put a lot of in jail, bro. Yeah. You think about it. If you knew he put 4 in jail. Well, yeah, it's not no more, huh? Of course. Yeah, you right. Damn, man. So what's up with the football? Cracking that Chris true? About the football team ain't cracking no more? No, nobody won that. Nobody won them. You know what I'm saying? Everything there was this.
So because I know about the football situation, it's not that the football ain't cracking on Crenshaw. The parents want to put their kids in programs where the kids are going to be successful and go all the way above and beyond. So like Irvine and all that kind of stuff is getting a whole lot of good looks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even the team that my nephew played for, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of lost their steam. It seemed like that whole Snoop Dogg Youth Football League is kind of, I ain't gonna say falling apart, but it's not looking as good as it once was looking. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so forth and so on, blah, 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 blah. But we're not going to sit here and just be like, oh, that's because the football team ain't this or the football team ain't that and blah, blah. Like, bro, it's youth football. Like, we're talking about youth sports here. We're not talking about anybody who is finna go into the Olympics, you know, blah, blah. Not to say that the kids can't, but we talking about youth sports here, bro. We're not talking about nothing crazy. So let's keep that in mind, too.
Cuz can't even be in the hood. Like, they ain't even pour them in the hood. I talked to Little Fee and them.
That's who you didn't talk to. That is who you did not talk to, big dog. I'm sure Lil Fee is not doing anything to be associated with you, bro. I'm sure he's not. That doesn't even make sense. For those of y'all who don't know who Lil Fee is, do the research, look it up. You know, God bless Lil Fee. Free that man until he's free. I'm sure Loose Cannon don't got that kind of reputation.
Oh yeah, they're in their yard, yeah. And damn, what's the what about the K-Dog in that? K-Dog just went to jail. You lying. Yeah. Oh my God. K-Dog. Oh my God. I know. Yeah. No. What's left is over there is PJ. He over there still hanging on. Fat Boy. Yeah, Fat Boy. And then, what about what's here? He's still over there. No Name? Yeah, but No Name got a safety valve. So he do it? Oh, No Name was in jail with us, though. Yeah, right? Yeah, but he took a safety valve. Oh, when he went in, when he was in the Fed? Yeah. Oh, so the whole time he was with us at TI, he had took a safety valve? Yeah. Oh, my God. Safety valve? Why y'all didn't check the paperwork? You know, I didn't even get it wrong, my nigga. Can't be there talking about you together.
Chat, what's the deal? Chat, what's the deal? For those of y'all who don't know, man, y'all just tuning in. We are listening to Loose Cannon and a phone call where supposedly Big U set up his OG homie from the hood. Full details on how they got backdoor. Keep in mind, it's the same person who they swore is getting set up as a grid worker, but they said that everybody who works for the grid program is a cop. But now this person who is a grid worker is in jail, and Big U told on him because Big U's the cop. So it's a whole lot of flu, flammery, skullduggery, and larceny, man. But shout out to the chat. EJ, what's the deal? Ike Turner, hands be back. Kamika, what's the deal? I'm not really sure 100% why Loose Cannon decided that this was his plan of action on a Saturday night and Sunday morning for us. But here we are.
I'll give you 6 months. You're gonna be saying 5 months. You wouldn't answer.
But then,
Come straight home to.
yeah, but see, at the end of the day, you need him. He needs other work on the street. He a police officer, bro. And
A wheelchair. They was trying to cut his leg off. You know, he diabetic guy,
yeah.
And Bear Claw. Oh yeah, that's over him.
Bear Claw be trying to keep it solid.
Oh, for real, Bear Claw be there. Everybody say Bear Claw be like trying to stay away.
He do.
I'm like, that nigga better not have nothing.
So what I do know too, Loose Cannon, that's Bear Claw's my god brother. Shout out to him. Loose Cannon ain't gonna never say anything or do anything that's gonna put him at direct odds with Bear Claw. He's gonna always try to make sure that he's on his good side, his good graces, and blah blah blah. Because short story short, if you know, you know. And that's real spill. See what I did there? It's a real spill. Loose Cannon just needs to have an SHIT smacked up out of him. And if you believe Loose Cannon to be a threat, you're an idiot.
Bear Claw.
Think about what happened with him and Creep.
Creep?
Yeah.
What happened with Creep?
I don't know. Creep.
Oh, yeah, they got into it. That was the last we heard. Creep just don't. I guess Creep don't even be seeing. But I don't know. I don't think I got into it over something because Creep was saying something on, on the internet or something. I don't know.
What? Because it's the police, right?
Yeah, they was talking about him. Yeah. Nigga Creep working and he's trying to push his clothes up. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely been you sent those to jail.
Oh yeah. Motherfucker kept saying, right, I just was looking at it, I put it together myself, right? I said, I'm about to ask Matthew about this.
Yeah, but think about this. He tell him it's $1 million in there
in the house.
And again, that's another story that only Loose Cannon is privy to. Like, supposedly Big U told these people it was $1 million in a house, and when we get there, the police is waiting on them, blah, blah. Nobody saw this but Loose Cannon. Nobody's aware of this story but Loose Cannon. Nobody knows anything about anything but Loose Cannon. So that's, Barnacles.
The only thing that was in there was the police.
Yeah. But then they kind of say like, I don't know, I don't like speaking on it, but they were saying something high already. I don't know.
It was high.
Hot.
Yeah, but what the hot have to do with
them going on the list? Yeah.
Nah, you can't say. How would the police?
No, Luce. I wasn't saying like they was hot so it was cool. No, hell no. Yeah, he set them up, but then they want to be putting him out like, oh man, this was already hot, but they wasn't saying like it was cool for us. I just see listeners, man. They gotta see paperwork to listen to. For real, bro. He go by first.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah,
because he already when you first said it was a lot of people all around like that. Bruce know what he's talking about. But then like that, see. Once they find out you was his right hand man, what the fuck?
Man, in the stream now, great stories. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. I'm finna go make this pod. I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. It's the Billy, it's the Flip Side Show. In truth, Hausenberg, the one with the word, Benny Bo, the one that's on go. Peace.